Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. It's Thursday, and that means only one thing: it's time to get in this ring. It's time to let freedom ring, and it's time to get in this ring and have some experience. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have predictions night. It's predictions night here on the Wrestling Experience. Predictions for should or the Money is not money in the bank, excuse me. Women's evolution. We're gonna do women's evolution tonight. The predictions for that. We're gonna do predictions for Saturday night's main event, and we're going to predict all in Texas. So all of that, plus, ladies and gentlemen, I have some news about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. You need to hear about that. We have some news on Shayna Baszler. We're going to talk about that. All of that just for you, our wrestling community, our great wrestling community. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and you landed on that mobile ship. You landed on Planet Experience. You landed on a Thursday. It's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience. All right, folks, welcome back to the experience. And Hula Grim is here. This thing is on, brother. Yes, it's popping. Yes, Hula Grim. Hula Grim says, hello, Hula Grim, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I brought this gentleman back because I brought him back for an encore presentation. He's gonna help me tonight with this show. Please help me welcome the one and the only Oliver Let's Adams on Skyline.
Yo, 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 is this thing on? Is this thing
Yes,
on?
yes, Ula Grim. Welcome back to the wrestling experience.
Been trying to do a sound check with you for the last 15 minutes. You haven't been seeing me waving and trying to get your attention, screaming and yelling?
No, I'm sorry, Ula Grim, but I was in my element and I was trying to make sure I had everything that I wanted to talk about, getting it out in the intro and everything else. So I do apologize for doing that. But welcome to the experience. So I
Thanks
can
for
hear
having
you
me.
loud and clear. You're welcome. All right, folks. Here's what's on the docket tonight. Here's what's on the docket. We are going to predict women's evolution. We're going to do that. We're going to predict Saturday night's main event, and we're going to
Oh boy.
predict and we're also going to predict all in Texas this coming Saturday.
We're doing all
Which,
that
by the
on tonight's show?
what was that, Hooligran?
We're doing all of that for the people on tonight's show. We're
That's
giving them all of
correct.
that, all that
Yes.
content. That we might be here longer than we might be here longer than an AEW pay-per-view. Holy shit.
And we're going to give you news on Seth Rollins and, of course, Becky Lynch. And we're going to give you some news
Hooray.
on, on Shayna Baszler. Also, I'll have my final thoughts on Dynamite's Go Home show last night. So we're going to talk about all of that tonight in this potpourri of action. So let's just go to
Good
it.
lord.
Let's jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are
With no floaties.
that's right. ladies and gentlemen, we're going to predict now women's evolution. So, ladies and gentlemen, women's evolution number two will happen this Sunday at 7 Eastern on Peacock. And of course, Netflix internationally. If you want to see the show, folks, go for it because
Can I
I'm gonna have what
can
was
I just
that?
say
What was
can I just say real quickly how great it is that we're having a PLE event in normal time, normal hours this weekend instead of at the absolute ass crack of dawn like Night of Champions. That was
right?
awful. I'm
Yeah.
so glad to be
Well,
back on American soil. America,
uh,
fuck
yeah,
yeah!
yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about that. Um.
Speaking of, hope you had a good
So,
4th of July, Earl.
what was that, Oliver?
I said, speaking of America, I hope you had a good 4th of July.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. I hope you did too.
I'm not much of the holiday guy anymore, but it was very tame this year compared to even last year.
Hi, Jeffrey.
My neighborhood is usually a war zone. I think everybody was hiding from ICE this year because there were hardly any fireworks lit off. So I think everybody was afraid that they were about to be sent off to a foreign land.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to predict women's evolution. Now, as I said before, I'll say it again. This show will be seen this Sunday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Peacock, and of course, internationally on Netflix. So you can check this out. I'm going to check this out because
What
I
show are
think
you going to
this
be
match.
watching?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you my schedule in just a few minutes. Um, so let's talk about this for a second. The Women's World Championship. It is Io Sky taking on Rhea Ripley. Now, Io Sky, if you all remember, Io Sky came on Raw, and Adam Pearce made her choose her opponent for Women's Evolution. She called out, well, Mommy was already in the ring. She was talking about her future, and Io Sky came out and she says, well, I want to challenge you for the title at Women's Evolution. Well, this match is going to happen. This match is going to happen, and the match should be fine. The match is going to be fantastic, as always. Now, Uliman, let me ask you a question. Who is going to win this women's championship?
I'm sorry. I was still thinking about last night's Dynamite and All In. I was not expecting to predict Evolution on Sunday before the other shows. Um, um, I'm not really sure, Earl. You got me all messed up right now. I got to retrain my line of thinking. I thought we were coming in. I thought for sure we were gonna do All In. We were gonna do All In first.
No, not yet. Not yet.
That's why sound check's
Oh,
good.
yeah. Okay. Um, okay. So Uber doesn't have a prediction here.
I do. I just I'm trying to think.
What's up, Jeffrey? How's it going tonight, Jeffrey? How you doing?
What match is this again?
This is the for the Women's World Championship. It is Io Sky taking on Rhea Ripley. While Hooligrim thinks about this for a second,
Why are we predicting that right now? Isn't that the main event
well,
of Evolution?
um, I'm I I guess so. I'm not sure how this card is gonna go out. I'm not sure, but I'm just going up and down the card here and just according to what I see here.
This one's tough
Um,
because I have a theory in where they're taking the storyline, and it's not what I would do. It's not what I would normally predict. Like I love Io Sky, and she's catching a fair amount of heat for her lackluster title reign, which on one hand I understand, but on the other hand, it's not really her
Right.
fault because nobody in creative has given her jack diddly shit to work with since she won the belt at WrestleMania. So she's kind of had this
Right.
coasting along, not defending the title type of title reign. And
Right.
just for us to see her face Rhea Ripley again wasn't really something I think the fans wanted to see so soon. I get that Rhea Ripley hasn't beaten her yet, going back to the Mae Young Classic days.
Right.
But I want Io to win. I want her to retain because I want her to have a meaningful title reign. However, up to this point, if you take a look at what Jacob Fatu did with the United States title and um, I'm trying to think of another the New Day with their tag team title run. These recent champions that got the titles didn't really do anything with the titles. So now we've seen Jacob Fatu lose the United States title. We've seen the New Day lose their tag team titles. They didn't really do
Right.
anything with the titles. They didn't defend them. They didn't have matches. So um, you get the titles off of them and give them to somebody that will work them and help put the titles over. So is that what they're going to do with EO? I honestly think if I was booking, I would keep EO as champion and I would change the trajectory of her. I'd put her in a story arc, whether it's with Kairi Sane and Asuka, and have them attack EO, vice versa. There's a number of things you could do. Um, but what I think they're going to do, Earl, is I think my heart is saying Io Sky, but my brain says I'm picking Rhea Ripley because I honestly think that they are fast tracking. I think they want to get the two Goth Queens in the ring at SummerSlam. I think they want Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. And I think we're going to see the title change hands at Evolution.
All right. So Hologram and of course Jeffrey in the chat picked Rhea Ripley. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do the same. And we're going to have a brand new women's world champion in Rhea Ripley. Yes. All right. So that's what we're gonna predict. All right. The women's intercontinental championship. It's a triple threat. It is Becky Lynch versus Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria. The match is gonna be fine. The
Woo!
match, the match is gonna be great. Um, this is going to be very hard to predict, but I kind of think I know what the wavelength is going to be here. Um, I'm going to wait for my predictions. Hologram, who is winning the women's intercontinental championship?
Well, that's a good question. We've seen the title kind of hot potato around a little bit as of late. Um, I mean, I don't see Lyra winning it back just yet
No.
because she had it. She defended it. Was it two times against Becky Lynch? No, she defended it once against Becky Lynch and then lost it the second time to Becky Lynch. So they still have
Right.
to have their trilogy, their third one versus one. But now Bailey's in the mix, so they're kind of stretching this one out a little bit longer. Bailey's recently come back, but to what? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I don't see how it benefits Bailey or the title to take it off of Becky when she hasn't had the belt for that long from freshly beating Lyra. I think that quite possibly we see a call up from NXT maybe interfere in this match. I'm not sure who that would be. I don't see the belt changing hands again so soon, and I think that Becky Lynch retains.
Okay. Um, Jeffrey says that he sees Becky Lynch retaining, but he could see Bailey winning the title.
They could, but like I said, Bailey just came back, and to what fanfare? I mean, she's had much to do about nothing. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's kind of like I know that they need to start somewhere with Bailey, and she needs some momentum. However, on such short build, I don't necessarily know that the fans get behind Bailey if she wins on Sunday.
Right. Um, I'm going to agree with everyone in the chat, and make sure everybody, please make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe and share. It's greatly appreciated tonight. Thank you so much. And there it is at the bottom of the screen, folks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you smack down that like button and you subscribe. Thank you. Um, okay, so I'm gonna say Becky Lynch retains the Intercontinental Championship.
God help us all.
All right. The women's championship on SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton will take on Trish Stratus. Now, Tiffany Stratton picked her opponent on SmackDown recently, and she won at Trish Stratus.
This is crazy.
We're going to get some Stratus faction in this match. But hologram, who's winning the belt?
I mean, this is another situation where I've got my ideas on how I would book things and then what I think they're gonna do. Um, Gosh, if I'm WWE, you can't put the belt on Trish Stratus because she's not a wrestler at this point in her career. Um, it diminishes the title, I think, if you have Trish Stratus win. Um, if she was more of an active member of the roster and had matches, then I don't have a problem with it. But given her status in the company, it's like, are we having Goldberg win the title in his retirement match on Saturday night, the night before? Why would they do that? You know what I mean? I can't see him.
Right.
I can't see Trish going over. However, if Tiffany just beats Trish, I mean, ho hum. You know what I mean? Like, what's so great about this? So my little creative mind has been doing some thinking this week, and they've been intertwining Naomi with Tiffany Stratton here and there, planting little seeds over the last since WrestleMania. I think what we're gonna see here is we're gonna see Naomi cashing in her Money in the Brief, Money in the Bank briefcase. I think we're gonna see her cash in and possibly become your new women's WWE champion at Evolution over Tiffany Stratton.
Except for one thing though. I don't think she's going to be in any condition, Naomi, to be cashing in anything. But I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Um, I'm going to.
So
I'm
you
going
basically just
to.
buried my idea.
Um, well, like I said, Ulaga, I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
Um, uh, so I'm going to say that Tiffany Stratton retains. Jeffrey, like that.
Can I
Tiffany
possibly
Stratton will.
explain why I think Naomi's going to cash in?
Okay, go ahead, Ulaga.
Just because, so you've got Jade Cargill, who's won the Queen of the Ring, And her and Naomi have been going back and forth. We haven't seen a whole lot of Bianca Belair. Now, she's in that gauntlet match, is she not?
Um, you're talking about the battle royal.
Yes.
The participants have not been announced yet, and they will be on SmackDown tomorrow night.
Oh,
They have not announced who's in this battle royal. Not yet.
okay. Um,
Oh,
so obviously, at some point, we have to get to a Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Whether Bianca Belair is a part of that, I firmly believe she will be. Um, what side she's going to be on, there's debate. A lot of people think that they see Bianca
okay.
turning heel.
Hmm.
I'm not sure so much that she turns heel as we probably may see her in a. I know this is not really what people want to see from Bianca Belair, but I could see her doing like a special guest referee gig at SummerSlam for Naomi and Jade Cargill. I just think that they're gonna indirectly give us. We're gonna get to Naomi versus Jade, but we're gonna take separate paths. We're gonna do detours along the way. I think that Naomi going after Tiffany Stratton and cashing in then gives Naomi something to throw at Jade. Like you may want a Queen of the Ring, but I'm women's champ now. I think they're gonna do something like that.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Okay, so I have Tiffany Stratton retaining her championship against against Trish Stratus. We don't know the NXT participants from NXT. Yeah, Jeffrey, we don't know the participants in this battle royal. I'm not
Yeah, we
going
know.
to
Oh,
announce.
we do know the NXT participants. It's Sol Ruka and Zarya.
Well, okay, so they're in the battle royal, but we don't have the entire list here for the battle royal, but there will be a women's battle royal, and the winner of that match will get a number one contender match for a title match at the Clash in Paris. So that's the prize for the woman
Sorry,
who wins that battle royal.
I think I'm getting the matches confused. I think I'm getting the women's tag team. Aren't they in a battle royal? Isn't it? That's
No, yeah, I just spoke about the battle royal, so that's about the. We're gonna get to the other match in a minute, but
but I'm confused.
what happened?
Are there two battle royals?
No, there's one. It's only one.
And it's a tag team, right?
No, the tag team match. Okay, if you want to talk about the tag team match, all right. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Lexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors versus Sol Ruka and Zara in a women's tag team fatal four way for the
Oh,
tag
okay.
team belts.
Okay, that's what I got confused. I don't know why I thought that. Okay,
And
fatal four
so
way.
Zarya and Sol Ruka are in the match, and Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez just named was named the tag team champions while we have the other member of that tag team out with a shoulder injury and surgery.
Liv Morgan.
So Liv Morgan is out right now with a shoulder surgery, folks, and
Probably not going to be back till next year.
probably not. So Hologram, I'm going to turn to you. Who's going to win this fatal four way for the women's tag team match?
I think what I would do, I think you need to put some shine onto NXT in this pay per view, this premium live event, if you will. Um, I think this match is a perfect spot to put some shine on Sol Ruka and get some main roster casual fan that doesn't necessarily watch NXT every week this gives WWE an opportunity to get some eyes on some talent that people might not normally get to see otherwise. Um, I think you've got. I mean, obviously, I want Zaruka to win it, like Jeffrey said. Obviously, you kind of have to have Raquel and Roxanne keep their titles from Judgment Day. But I would use this match as an opportunity to really showcase what Zaruka can do. I think she's awesome. I think the women in NXT are the absolute selling point of that brand right now. They've been carrying that brand all year long. I would love to see NXT get the win. Obviously, if it's for the women's tag team titles, I'm going with Raquel and Roxanne to retain.
Yeah, I'm going to say that too. I think Raquel and Roxanne are going to retain here, but they're very strange bedfellow booking. Very
Yes.
strange because these two ladies do not like each other. These two ladies do not like each other, and
I wouldn't say that.
uh,
I think that Raquel has allegiance and loyalty to Liv, but as the weeks go, as we've been seeing the time progress without Liv Morgan, Finn's been in everybody's ear. He's instigating and stirring the pot on every which way he can. But at the same time, Roxanne is still proving herself to be a useful commodity to Raquel. She shows up when she's needed. She helps out when she's needed. When she's expected to help, it doesn't backfire and cost her team. Um, and I think Raquel wants to not like Roxanne, but as we keep seeing, Roxanne keeps coming through clutch for the Judgment Day. So you can't really knock her. There's not really much that Raquel can hate on, and eventually, I think we're gonna get to a point where it's just
I
undeniable.
agree.
You know what I mean? You can't hate
Yeah,
Roxanne. Raquel's not going to be able to hate Roxanne. She's going to have to accept her into the Judgment Day, and that's about the time that Liv Morgan's going to come back and go, "What the hell?" So it'll be
yeah.
an interesting journey, but I just don't see the titles changing hands.
Changing hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, Roxanne was not welcomed into the Judgment Day. She was not welcomed, and Liv just couldn't take her. Liv couldn't stand her, and Tommy, how's it going? Hey, Earl friends, how are you doing, guys? We're doing great, Tommy. Thank you so much for your comment. Hit the like button, everyone in the chat. Okay, so I have Raquel and Roxanne retain here over the. Okay, so far in the battle royal, we have Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is in the battle royal, so she signed on to be in the battle royal. We don't have every other participant yet in this battle royal, but Nikki Bella is in there. All right,
My
this
my
is
heart
why
wants to
I.
sink into my fucking ass, Earl. Oh man, Nikki Bella. Oh boy, what have we done? What have wrestling gods? I ask you, what have we done in 2025 to deserve this absolute torture we've been given all year long in the world of pro wrestling on both sides? I'm struggling to understand how we came off of a year like we had last year with all that momentum. I thought we were for
Thank you,
sure carrying
Tommy.
it into 2025, and we were going to have an even more of a banger year than last year. And somehow it's been all brakes and not much gas.
Well,
We're getting Nikki
well,
Bella in
fella.
2025. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. This is why I said there will be no cashing on this show. Jay Cargill will take on Naomi in a no holds barred match. Okay, folks. Now, if you all don't know what a no holds barred is, there is no rules.
Oh,
There are
wait, these two are
no.
actually fighting on Evolution?
Yes, they are. And
Well, I mean,
it.
You could have said that before I looked like an absolute jobber and gave that goofy prediction. If I would have known that they had a
Well,
match on the
well,
card, I wouldn't have made that prediction 10 minutes
well.
ago, Earl.
I did tell you, Ulagrim. I did say
No, you
she
didn't.
is going to be in no condition.
Yeah, but
She
you
is
said you were
good.
gonna wait. You were gonna wait and tell me later why you said that instead of cutting me
Yeah,
off and saying,
now
"Hey,
and now I'm going to tell you.
nah, you fuck."
Now I'm going to tell you. Jade Cargill will versus Naomi in a no holds barred. All right, folks. Here's how the match is going to work. These two ladies are just going to destroy each other. They're going to destroy each other in this match. Jade Cargill and Naomi have been going back and forth with each other for months, and now it leads up to this no holds barred match. Jeffrey, what would you say? What are you saying, Jeffrey? Lava. That's
Nothing. I'm
Earl's
gonna tell you,
fault.
Earl.
Yeah. I know, Jeffrey. I
Earl,
know.
Earl set me up. Earl
No, I
completely
did
set me
not.
up on
Oh,
that
I
one.
did not. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
You
I
let me
can't
make
take
that
credit.
goofy prediction and then stalled out on me for 10 minutes just to tell me that these two women had a match at the pay per view. Well, no wonder you didn't agree with my prediction. I don't agree with my prediction now. Damn it!
I think Bianca helps Naomi. Okay. All right.
So
So
they're gonna have a
now,
no holds barred match, which obviously means that Bianca can interfere and not affect the outcome of the match. So that's for sure gonna happen because Bianca's not got nothing else to do. So do you have Jade Cargill go over Naomi? Nah, you can't really because she's already queen of the ring. She's already won that accolade. It derails Naomi's momentum as money in the. It's kind of like, well, who cares if she's got the money in the bank briefcase if she just got pummeled by Jade Cargill? I agree with Jeffrey. I think that this is a prime situation to have Bianca come in, switch it up because the last time we've seen of her in this little love triangle with these three ladies, Bianca's always been on the side of Jade Cargill because Jade Cargill was the one that got attacked or whatever earlier in the year. I think we see a role reversal. I think that Bianca helps Naomi. Maybe not role reversal on maybe not on purpose. Like maybe Bianca doesn't go heel and purposely help Naomi. Maybe she tries to help Jade and it backfires in Naomi's favor. But with that said, unless you unless you have Jade Cargill beating Naomi, that's when I would agree with you that she's probably going to be in no condition to cash in on Tiffany. But if Bianca helps Naomi win, I still think that we're going to see Naomi cash in her briefcase on Tiffany Stratton.
all
There has
right.
to be. There's been no build for this pay per view. There's got to be some shock and awe, holy shit moment, especially that this show is going on Sunday when WWE's been doing their PLEs on Saturday for the last how many years now.
Over five.
There has to be some sort of there's going to be something's going to happen on this show that is going to be blasted all over the social media and ESPN headlines first thing in the morning.
Well, we're gonna find out. Tommy says Jade Cargill is gonna whip Naomi. Yeah, well, I will agree with that. Jeffrey says I can see that too, Hologram. Bianca helps Naomi on accident. Yeah, well, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to find out. We're gonna find out about that. Okay, here's my prediction. Here's my prediction. Jade Cargill's gonna win this no holds barred match
Okay.
because she is the queen of the ring, and you cannot stifle her momentum going into SummerSlam. You can't do that. That's a no brainer. So there's no way Naomi is going to survive Miss Cargill. Now, now again, like I said, we like Hooligans brilliantly said, we could get some shock and awe in this match. We could, but I just cannot see WWE stifling Jake Cargill's momentum going into SummerSlam. SummerSlam is next month. Remember that. SummerSlam is next month. So
SummerSlam's in
we
like 2.5 weeks, Earl.
well yeah, we're getting into the month of August. the way the month of July is flying by here. You just wake up one morning and it's SummerSlam weekend. I mean, like I said before, I'll say it again. Cargill cannot be stifled here. You can't stifle her momentum, and you can't do that. Not going towards SummerSlam, you can't do that. So the only thing I'm
But what
going to
about
say is
Naomi?
she.
I don't think you
Well,
can stifle. I think Naomi's momentum is more important.
yeah. Well, Tommy said give him hell, or yeah. Okay, Tom. But here's the thing. Like I said before, I understand what you're saying, Hologram, but the crown overshadows the briefcase. You understand?
But the
She is
crown
the number.
is her winning the crown gives her. So they basically both have the same thing. The crown is basically another briefcase. It guarantees her a title shot at SummerSlam, does it not?
Yeah, it does. But what I'm trying to tell you is, Ulwim, we're getting closer and closer to SummerSlam, and
Yes.
we cannot stifle. We cannot stifle her momentum. You can't bury her like that. It doesn't look good.
I
You understand? It doesn't look good. Naomi
no, I understand. I totally
Naomi could
understand.
take the loss. Naomi could take a loss. It's not going to do anything to her star power to eat the pin. But in this instance, Cargill's got to look strong going into SummerSlam when she takes on Tiffany Stratton. So that has to be put in place, and that has to be put intact. The audience is going to sour on it if you sit there and you made Naomi pin Cargill. You can't do that. So I'm going to err on the side of caution here, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say that Jade is going to bury Naomi. She
Okay.
has to eat the pin. She has to eat the pin. It is
Okay.
imperative that she eats the
So
pin.
so why okay, so with that explanation, which was very well stated by you, and thank you for helping me see your point of view, because now I understand your prediction more clearly and it makes sense as to why you picked that. Um, but what about Naomi and her momentum, and why do you feel that her momentum isn't as important in this match as Jade Cargill's? Because in a sense, the money in the briefcase guarantees Naomi can pick her shot whenever she wants, whereas the Queen of the Ring isn't quite as liberal. I mean, she gets a title shot, but it has to be at SummerSlam. She doesn't get to just keep it for a year and pick her spot
Right?
necessarily.
No.
If you
No, I
have
understand. Go ahead, hold on. I'm sorry.
if you have Naomi cash in on Tiffany at Evolution and become the women's champion, then you automatically have Naomi versus Jade Cargill at SummerSlam again.
That's what I mean. This is what I'm trying to drive at.
But if my
I don't
prediction,
think the WWE. I don't. I'm sorry to cut you off, Hooligan, but I just want to just make this point, and then I'm gonna make you talk. I'm sorry, but my point is this: the crowd wants something fresh and different.
right?
So we cannot sit here and say, okay. Let's say, for example, Naomi wins the match and she pins Jade. All right, we just stifled Jade's momentum. All right. She wins the match. She wins the no holds barred. Later on in the evening, Tiffany Stratton is taking on Trish Stratus. Here comes Naomi with the briefcase. I don't think the audience wants to see this again. They do not want to see Jay go after Naomi at SummerSlam. That is not what the card should look like. You know what I'm saying?
But you
You
don't think that
you
Jade and Naomi have more chemistry and would put on a better match than Jade versus Tiffany Stratton?
well look at it this way. Look at it this way. Both women have athleticism. All right. Jade is a little green in the ring. I get it. I understand it. I get it. Her timing, some of her work in the ring needs some help. But at the same token, she could match athleticism with athleticism with Tiffany. So I rather see a semi decent, a semi decent Tiffany Stratton and Jade match versus another Naomi match. You see what I'm saying? So
Well, here's the thing. They're going to have to at some point go back to Naomi, Bianca, and Jade to finish this storyline. So my thinking was instead of dragging it on past SummerSlam, end it at SummerSlam. And the way you do that is you have the holy shit shock and awe moment at Evolution of Naomi cashing in on Tiffany Stratton because, like you said, everybody's expecting to see Tiffany versus Jade at SummerSlam. So if Naomi cashes in, everybody starts immediately thinking to the future in SummerSlam. Oh, great! So now we get Naomi and Jade Cargill again. However, due to their no holds barred match and the accidental interference from Bianca, that throws Bianca into the wrench, into the mix at SummerSlam, which is probably where she'll end up being the special guest referee for Naomi and Jade Cargill. Because I honestly think that they're going to do. I mean, I'm not saying your prediction is wrong because the way you explained it, they're probably going to go the way that you explained it and do Tiffany Stratton, women's champion, versus Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill. But I feel like to keep Naomi's momentum, I don't feel like Naomi can suffer. She can suffer a pinfall loss, yeah, and not lose her star power. I get that. But in terms of her momentum as a heel and this run that she's been on, I feel like a loss really is a detriment to her. And if they do the shock and awe moment at Evolution, that's still a way to get. You could even do Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Naomi at SummerSlam if you wanted to.
Right. Jeffrey says, how are you going to say proceed with caution? Say Jade wins, Earl. Use her own catchphrase against her. Okay. All right, I will. But okay. And here's another scenario. Here's another scenario before we move on here. Okay. Let's say, for example, Naomi wins the match over Jade in this no holds barred. All right. Tiffany Stratton is taking on Trish Stratus in the match. Naomi comes down and says, "Now I'm going to make this a triple threat." All right, she cashes in the thing. Now let's say in this match, this plan blows up in everyone's face, and Tiffany pins Naomi. This is now going to be a failed cash in. This is why I'm saying. This is why I'm saying. This is why I'm saying that I think they need to hold off with this briefcase, this whole thing with the briefcase. You can still have Naomi lose the no holds barred match to Jade. It doesn't matter. She is pissed at Jade that Jade went there and pinned her in Women's Evolution. She comes out at SummerSlam. She comes out at SummerSlam while the match is going on, and then she cashes in that Money in the Bank briefcase. And in front of 85,000 people, she wins the women's championship in front of the audience, and she gets her revenge on Jade. That is the way you should go. That's the way you should go.
I get it. I just feel like that's the most obvious, predictable route, which I feel like to do the women justice for even having this pay per view on like a 2 week notice, they really. I just wish that like I feel like the show just need like Jeffrey in the chat was saying this show needs a shock and awe moment. And the shock and awe moment, like what bigger
Yeah.
shock and awe moment could you have than doing an unexpected Naomi cashing in on Tiffany Stratton here at Evolution instead of SummerSlam? Because everybody's expecting it at SummerSlam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know something. You never know in the WWE curveball what they're gonna throw at you. And like
True.
I said before, this is absolutely something that we're going to be talking about for a while. We don't know what the cash is going to be. We don't know if it's going to happen at Evolution, but I have a feeling that they're going to keep this until SummerSlam. And I think that that's what they want. They want a bigger stage. And they want that big stage. And what bigger stage in SummerSlam? That's just my feeling. That's just my
Yeah,
feeling.
I can't sit here and say that you're not making sense because it totally makes sense. And the way you explained it to me, you did a good job. Because at first I wasn't understanding like why you think Jade is going to go over Naomi in this match, but we also could have Jade going over due to Bianca's interference, maybe as well. Nobody's explored that side of the coin that Bianca come out and actually help Jade beat Naomi.
That's another thing too. And like I said, the scenarios and the predictions are so random.
In fact, I'm going to change my prediction now because of your explanation, and a light bulb just went off in my head because I didn't really understand until you so eloquently put it that Jade can't really suffer a loss because of her momentum from winning Queen of the Ring. I
Mhm.
feel very strongly, as I said about Naomi, but here's how, in my mind, you can justify Naomi losing by outside interference from Bianca. Then it's like, well, then you have the explanation. Well, Naomi lost, but it technically wasn't her fault. It's not like she got pinned clean in the ring, and you almost have to have Bianca interfere in this match for either woman. If no matter
Yeah,
which woman goes over, you have to have Bianca interfere in this match because if one woman pins the other one clean, it's going to completely derail somebody's momentum because they both have major momentum right now.
right.
So I think that you're probably right. So I'm gonna switch my prediction to Jade Cargill winning, but I'm gonna have the little caveat of Bianca Belair is gonna interfere and cause something's gonna happen due to Bianca's interference. It's gonna allow Jade to win.
Right.
But if Naomi cashes in on Tiffany Stratton and wins, you remember chat where you heard it first.
Yep. Like I said, folks, my predictions are entertainment for entertainment purposes, and I really don't know the outcome of these matches. But one I do know is that I strongly feel with something, and usually not all the time, but sometimes when I watch these pay-per-views and I watch these PLEs, some of the things that I do say do come true to fruition. They do come to fruition, some of them, not all of them, not all of them, because as you know, WWE likes to throw curveballs, and they like to play with the booking.
That's
So
and that's specifically why I said maybe some shock and awe happens at Evolution because the
we'll see.
expectedness because everybody's expecting Naomi to cash in on Tiffany at SummerSlam. You know what I mean? And
Right.
when WWE knows that we're expecting something for a while, that's usually when they step in and
Caught in the middle of
throw
this.
a
Yeah.
swerve.
Yep. Bianca's caught in the middle of it. Remember, SummerSlam is 2 nights. Yes,
No,
I
no, I
understand
don't
that.
want to remember that SummerSlam is 2 nights. I really don't.
Jeffrey did another shock and awe. I can see AJ Lee returning. They've been updating a bunch of AJ stuff on YouTube. Oh, okay. All right, folks, we're up to the last match. We're up to the last match. NXT Women's Championship. JC Jane will take on Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Okay.
I
Bro, how's
mean,
it going? Bro, how's it going tonight? SummerSlam should be one night. Yeah, I understand. But because of SummerSlam's popularity, they're going to stretch it into 2 nights. Um, okay. Who is winning the NXT Women's
I mean,
Championship?
I've got in a real big shocker of a response. Jordan Grace.
Okay.
I know nobody saw that prediction coming.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that assessment. I'm going to agree.
JC
I am
Jane or Jordan Grace. If anybody picks JC Jane, I don't even care if you pick JC Jane due to interference from her fellow faction mates. There's no way. There's no way Jordan Grace is losing.
right. All right.
Uh, Earl Cole throwing me a curveball, having us pick Evolution first matches.
I do apologize for that, but yeah, we had to start off with that, and
What are you going to be
uh,
watching on
all right.
Saturday? Are you
Okay,
watching main
so
event or are you watching All In?
okay, here's what's gonna happen this Saturday. Here's what's gonna happen. I am going to be making streaming history. For the first time ever, folks, I'm going to do two shows in one stream. I'm going to be on the air with All In Texas AEW at 2:50. Then, as soon as All In is concluded, we will transition into Saturday night's main event. So I'll be on the air, folks, from 2:50 to 10 p.m. That is 2:50 to 10 p.m. And that is going to be a long, and what I mean long, folks, I mean a long
Long.
day of streaming. Mm, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be making history. Yes, yes, look, Rip has left the building. Yeah, we're going to make history on Saturday afternoon.
Earl said long one too many times for my comfortability level. I had to excuse myself.
Remember, NXT Great American Bash is on Saturday too. I'll be watching Saturday night's main event also. Yeah,
I want a
Jeffrey.
great American bash my face into a wall with all of this fucking convoluted pro wrestling that they just sprung up on us
Earl,
out of nowhere.
sorry, Earl, I won't be there to see you rant. Oh, okay, Jeffrey, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So we're gonna be doing yeah, so this Saturday, folks, I'm gonna be on the air at 2:50 with All In Texas, and then we're gonna transition into Saturday night's main event. All right, folks, next prediction we're gonna do is Saturday night's main event. And we're
I
gonna
think
get
I'm
to
going to be
that.
live on the air Saturday as well. I was debating on whether or not I was going to do Saturday or Sunday for Evolution because I only have one more stream before my. I have to wait until I think the 14th is when my stream time resets for the month on StreamYard. But I got one more stream, and I don't know if I didn't know if I was going to go live Saturday or go live Sunday because I'm not really sure what people are going to be watching more of. I would assume there's going to be more people watching Saturday than on Sunday, but
Right.
uh, just to not to put myself over too much, but be on the lookout for my channel on Saturday as well because I'll probably be live too.
Okay. All right, folks. Here is the card as it stands right now for Saturday night's main event. Let's talk about this first one. Seth Rollins will take on L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this match is going to be physical. The match is going to be hard hitting. The match is going to be marred in shenanigans. And we all know that. The match is going to be full of shenanigans. I don't have to tell you this, folks. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Bronson Reed and of course his entourage will be coming down to the ring and interfering in this match. Um, who's winning the match against Seth Rollins and LA Knight?
Is there a stipulation or is it just a regular one-on-one match?
One on one.
Um, you know, this is a tough one because I mean the obvious answer is there's going to be a disqualification due to outside interference.
Mhm.
which probably puts LA Knight as the winner via disqualification. But I just think that that's lame ass.
Yeah.
But if you take away outside interference, who do you have going over? Like, how do you pick LA Knight to derail Seth Rollins' momentum? I can't really see that happening, given the way that they always book LA Knight in these situations. But at the same time, he's got momentum going behind him, and a loss would really, God, it would set him back almost to the reset status again. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he can afford that to do that again. God, I don't like this prediction because I don't really feel. I mean, I guess LA Knight wins via DQ due to outside interference. I mean, the typical, obvious, boring. We can see from a million miles away it's coming
Right.
result, but I think that that's what's going to happen. We're going to get shenanigans, like you said, and then Seth Rollins is going to get disqualified, and LA Knight is declared your winner.
Yep. Yep. That is exactly what I'm going to say too.
Really? Okay, good. I'm
Yep.
not totally crazy then today.
No, no, you're not. Because I know that this is going to be full of shenanigans. I'm picking LA Knight because he needs his payback. Yeah, I agree with that, Jeffrey. But he's gonna win the match via DQ. It's not gonna be a clean finish.
Now,
It
here's the
will
thing:
not.
do we
Yes.
see a new member to their faction show up in this
Well,
match?
that's a possibility.
There's been speculation. I know you've heard the rumors that either Ricky Saints or who was the other rumored talent that supposedly might be entering their group.
I
I
don't
forget
know.
who it was. It was two people they were speculating. It was Ricky Saints. Oh, Ethan Page, maybe. They're saying that either Ethan Page or Ricky Saints to join Seth Rollins' faction.
Well, we'll have to see what we're gonna have to see about that.
I don't necessarily know that I would put Ricky Saints in that faction, but I could see Ethan Page being a part. I could see Ethan Page being Seth Rollins' little right hand man. I totally could
Yeah,
see
I
that.
could see that. Yeah, I can see that. We're gonna have to see on Saturday. We're gonna see. So Seth Rollins and LA Knight. LA Knight wins via disqualification.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which is so obvious and boring,
And
but
Jeffrey said I would put Becky Lynch in the faction. Well,
she's a
that
man
would
after
be
all.
yeah. Well, that would be interesting. All right, let's continue. Randy Orton will take on Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be great. The match is going to be fine. The match is going to be great for what it is. I'm looking forward to this match because this match, if these two men have been going at it at each other, and I love it. I would really and truly like to see Randy Orton win some matches here after his loss at the Night of Champions. So I'm going to use my prediction here. Randy Orton will defeat Drew McIntyre. Uh, what say you?
Uh, I say that I'm not being paid to say this, but gentlemen, get your Blue Chew, get your Roast Sparks, because this match is gonna be stiff.
Mm, mm. Can you elaborate?
Um, I like this match. I've been excited to see these two, just like I wanted to see CM Punk versus John Cena. I wanted to see that happen one more time. I was waiting all year for that, and we got that at Night of Champions. I've been wanting Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre's paths to cross for quite some time now. So I'm excited that I'm getting another dream match of sorts in the same year, with all within the same month, really. And these two, the way that they perform in the ring, they're stiff hitters.
Yes.
I think this match is going to be really stiff. I think they're going to really it's going to look like they beat the shit out of each other. It's going to be very believable. and I
Yes,
think this is going to be one of probably the more entertaining matches of the
I
evening.
sold to the blue crew. Blue chew. Oh, okay.
Did you get my joke, Earl? I don't think you got my joke
With
about Blue Chew. Get your Blue Chew because the match is going to be stiff. You know.
oh God, no. Oh God, no. No, it registered.
Oh.
Oh my Lord. Randy and Drew faced in the pandemic. Yes, they did. Okay, so I have Randy Orton winning over Drew McIntyre. All right.
I have. I didn't predict a winner. I have.
No, no, please do.
I mean, are you think? I'm assuming you're of the belief that we're getting Randy versus Cody at SummerSlam. Are we getting Randy versus
Um,
John Cena versus Cody, or some form of?
from what I understand and from what I read, this is going to be a straight up one on one contest. Now, I don't know if TKO and Triple H and everyone involved in this booking is going to change their mind. But apparently, they just want to see Cody going after Cena at SummerSlam. I haven't heard anything about them changing that. I haven't heard about them tweaking it or you know. The only thing I want them to tweak in this match is a clean finish. Because I'm going to tell you this much. I am getting sick and tired of Cena's matches ending in a whack finish.
Kick him in
I
the dick.
am. Yep. All right, folks.
Well, this is
Let's.
what this is why I asked because Randy, what are we doing with him at SummerSlam if he loses this match with Drew? Drew's just been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, a few weeks, 2 months, something like that. He's just now come back, so it's highly unlikely that they're going to have Drew win this match. But let's just say that he does. What is his angle for SummerSlam in 3 weeks? Because they're going to have no build for SummerSlam after Saturday night's main event. We've literally got a couple of weeks until SummerSlam after that point, right? And
Right.
SummerSlam is like Jeffrey reminded us earlier. It's a 2 night show.
Right.
Clearly, all these people are going to have something to do on a 2 night show. Just what is it going to be? So if you have you predicted that Randy Orton's going to go over,
Hmm.
that probably carries this as a little feud into SummerSlam, and we get some form of Randy versus Drew again at SummerSlam. I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. Okay, Orton defeats McIntyre.
Yeah.
McIntyre goes to the general manager and complains and bitch and moan that he had Randy on dead to right and he did whatever to win the match.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep pushing and pushing and pushing until finally we get a rematch at SummerSlam. Now that's what's gonna happen here. That is exactly what's gonna happen here.
Right, because
All
if
right.
Randy loses, he's not facing Cody yet. So his momentum that he's been building is immediately stifled. And then Drew McIntyre, who just literally came back a week ago, he's been on one show since he came back. If he gets a win over Randy Orton, okay, yay, he got a win. But then where do you stick him at SummerSlam? There would be no reason for
Right.
him to fight Randy Orton again if he beats Randy Orton at Saturday night's main event. So
Right.
he would look foolish for accepting Randy Orton saying, "Oh, hey, I want another crack at you at SummerSlam." Drew, no, I already beat you. Like, why would I fight you again? That wouldn't make
Right.
sense. So your prediction makes the most sense to me. Randy Orton over Drew
Yep.
McIntyre.
Yep. Jeffrey said, y'all see Drew's new merch board at work? Yeah, I saw that. All right, let's move on. The United States Championship. Solo Sokoa will take on Jimmy Uso. Again, This match is going to be marred with shenanigans.
No, this
We
match is
all
going to be
know.
marred with botches.
Well, I don't know about that, but one thing I do know is there's going to be a lot of interference in this match. There's going to be a lot. And trust me when I tell you this, folks, you're not going to see much in this match. Jimmy Uso is not winning the United States Championship. Solo Sikoa will retain at Saturday night's main event. Thanks to Hikalea, thanks to JC Mateo, thanks to Tona Loa, and everybody else who wants to come out from the back.
Um, is Jacob Fatu on this card by chance?
No, no.
Interesting. Yeah. He could help Jimmy win.
Yeah, but I just don't see that. You know WWE in this lazy booking. You know that they're lazy when it comes to Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. You know they're lazy. So I am not going to sit here
Yeah, they
and
got to
try to
make
shoot.
Solo's faction look as dominant as possible going into SummerSlam, so
Right,
that we can have a
exactly.
returning Roman Reigns come and conquer the evil resurgence of the Bloodline. Because apparently they're never gonna be done with this Bloodline storyline, are they?
No,
It's gonna
no.
go on. It's gonna just go on. It's like the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends.
Yeah, yep, 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 yep,
Uh,
yep. Yeah.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Um. Yeah,
Do we
Jeffrey's the
we
same
don't
way.
You don't think we're gonna see Jacob Fatu in any way, shape, or form on this show?
No, no. I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you.
I
I'm gonna.
mean,
Yeah. No. I mean, he could come out, but he's gonna. He's. It's just gonna be too much.
the
It,
numbers
it, it
game,
is.
right?
Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
probably come
It's
out to
just.
help Jimmy, and then it's 2 versus 4, and then the 4 beat up on the 2, and then we're gonna be
Right.
like, what's gonna happen? And then we'll see the next couple of weeks of Jimmy and Jacob getting their ass handed to him, leading all the way up into SummerSlam, and then we get the return of the tribal chief who comes to aid them. And it doesn't matter that it's 4-on-3 because Roman Reigns has the power of fucking 5 Greek gods inside his little pinky finger. So it's really like 20-on-4, and then we'll have some sort of redemption arc at SummerSlam. So
Yeah. So Solo Sokoa, folks, will retain this championship, United States, and that is the truth. Plus, Jimmy and Jacob need backup. Yep, they certainly do. All right, folks, we're up to
I
the
wonder
main
who their
event of.
backup's gonna be.
Oh, I don't know. All right, folks, we are up to the main event of Saturday night's main event, the puffing and blowing match.
Wait,
It
there's only
is,
4 matches on this card?
yes, it is, it is Gunther
Gunther.
defending against Goldberg for the heavyweight championship. This match is going to be brought to you by an oxygen
Sorry,
tank.
Jeffrey. Sorry, Jeffrey. My bad. They're called the
Oh,
MFT now. They're the MFT now, not the Bloodline.
yeah,
My fault.
the MFT. Yes, that's what they're going to call it. Yes. All right, folks. If you are going to now, I have seen people talk about this match back and forth. I've seen it on many different sports shows. I've seen it on many different wrestling podcasts. I have seen it all over the place. All right. This is my feeling about this match. This is my feeling. Gunther shouldn't have won the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay? On
Say that
Raw.
one more time
He
for the
should
people in the back.
he shouldn't have won the title in the beginning. All right?
He shouldn't have won it back
Uh,
from Jay.
No, I'm going to explain why. Now, this match, I'm not looking at forward to it. I'm actually nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous about this match too. But hold on for a second. Hold on. All right, this is why I say this, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. I can't speak for every wrestling fan. I only can speak for me. Okay, World Heavyweight Championship should never have went to Gunther. He shouldn't have defeated Jay Uso for that title. And here's how I would have booked this match. I would have had Goldberg's music hit. Gunther gets distracted by the music. Jay then rolls up Gunther and he retains the title. Now, the next night on Raw, Gunther comes out and he is pissed. He is pissed that somebody, he's blaming production, he's blaming this, he's blaming that, he's blaming everybody under the sun for him to lose because he lost the match. All of a sudden, Goldberg's music hits again, and the real Goldberg comes out. All right, we get a stare down. We get a stare down. We get him puffing and blowing and everything else, and he comes down sweating like a hog. And he comes there and he challenges Gunther. That is how that match should have been happening at Saturday night's main event. Not for a title. That's
But
the way I would have booked the match.
you know, I'd be willing to bet everything that I own that when Goldberg came back, what was it, 2017? I bet that contract that he signed for the 5 matches he was going to have or whatever. I bet you in the contract it stated that all these matches were going to be for title matches, and that's why
Yes.
we're getting this. Because Jeffrey's right.
Uh,
This does not need a fucking title whatsoever to happen. And in fact, it's been irritating me because every
no,
time Michael
you're
Cole
right.
talks about this match on TV, he keeps mentioning that he specifically brings up the fact that what happens if Goldberg wins? What does this mean for Goldberg if he wins the title from Gunther in his retirement match? Michael Cole, you're giving away the fucking match every time you bring that up, you fucking buffoon.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I
Here's the
hate when they
thing.
give away the answer in the promo ad for the match. I hate it more than anything, Earl.
I hate it too, but I'm gonna tell you this much, folks. I'm gonna tell you this much. If I see on Saturday night that in front of Gunther's mother, wife, kids, and all his friends in the audience in Atlanta, and he wins that title, I'm going to tell you something. You talk about when
Do you mean
Ron Killings
Goldberg?
was. Let me tell you something. If
You
you
mean
think
Goldberg because
that.
you said Gunther.
No, I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to go on record and saying this. If I see Goldberg defeat Gunther for that title, let me tell you something, folks. The rant I'm going to do on that stream is going to be so bad. Because I'm going to tell you this, but folks, if you listen to me carefully, if you think the firing of Ron Killings was something on Twitter, oh, you haven't seen anything yet if Goldberg wins this match. You haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet. Oh my God, Triple H better not come to the next arena. He better not,
Do you
because
think?
I
Because I'm trying to
refuse.
think, Earl. They,
I'm just,
they they
I'm
keep
just saying.
advertising that Goldberg's last match, Goldberg's retirement. Like
It
you said,
is.
his family's going to be there. It's in his quote unquote hometown, where he played football and where he cut his teeth in WCW. How does he lose in that environment? Like the only thing I can see is that it doesn't matter. Like this, no, this is it's being billed as his retirement match, so you don't need to book him as being strong in the match because we're all expecting him to lose, being the fact that this is a title shot. If there was no title on the line, it would be more unpredictable, and it would be like, well, shit. Goldberg could win his retirement match, and then what does that mean? Is he still going to ride off into the sunset, or is he going to stick around for a couple more matches? Who knows? But because the belt is on the title, it ruins the match for me in a couple of different ways. And one of those ways is like they're not really contemplating having Goldberg win this match, are they?
No, no,
And two,
no.
then we don't need to make it a big deal that Goldberg looks strong in his retirement match. What I would have happen is Gunther come out and squash Goldberg. I'm talking like 60 seconds or less. And
I'm
end the
going.
legend of Goldberg once and for all in a moment where everybody was like, holy shit, Gunther just came out and pummeled the guy with the greatest win streak of the modern era. That's
I'm
what I
gonna
would do.
just say. I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say this. This match is only gonna last 34 seconds, and that's it.
Oh, you think it's going to be a squash too? Okay.
This match, not
Gunther, right?
me. Yep.
Yeah, he's
This
got to
I'm
squash
gonna.
Goldberg. He has
I'm
to.
gonna just say. I'm gonna just say this, folks. If you believe in Goldberg and you are a fan of Goldberg and you want to see him win, go. I'm not going to trample on your thought process. I'm not. But here's my thing, and here's my thing only. This match doesn't need to last 2 minutes. The match doesn't need to last 5 minutes. The match doesn't need to last 10 minutes because he can't last.
The longer this match goes, the more you're putting both Goldberg and Gunther in danger due to the fact that Goldberg is old. We all saw what happened 5 years ago when he couldn't even pick The Undertaker up and put him in a jackhammer and almost killed The Undertaker live on TV in front of the whole world to watch at Crown Jewel. Um, you cannot have a wrestling match between Goldberg and Gunther because it will expose Goldberg even more than we already know. We don't need to see him fail at a wrestling match to know he can't really wrestle. So it does nobody any favors if you have him wrestle longer than a minute. You can't have Goldberg winning. One of two things is happening. But either way, whichever way WWE is going to go, it's got to be a squash. Either Gunther's getting squashed or Goldberg's getting squashed. There can't be anything other than a squash match in the making for this.
He concussed himself when he faced The Undertaker. Yes, he did.
Yes, he
He
concussed
did.
himself before he walked out of the
They did
locker
two
room.
minute minimum. 2 minute minute. Okay. Jeffrey says, I'm confident that Goldberg's going to lose.
I got an
Gunther
idea.
just got it back. Yes.
I have a scenario because this is so like nobody thinks Goldberg's going to walk away with the title and retire with the title, right? Especially because John Cena's been on this story arc about how he's going to retire with the title. So we're not gonna have two top guys with the same storyline. I can't see that happening. They showed a picture recently of Goldberg's son and Goldberg facing each other. Goldberg's son got the same shoulder tattoo that Goldberg has, that iconic little tribal design that we've all known Goldberg's logo to be. What if Gage makes his WWE debut helping Gunther beat his father? With the
Um,
explanation of Goldberg's been getting punked out left and right since October by Gunther. Gunther comes out and cuts a promo, talks shit about his
good
family,
point. Yep.
talks shit about how Goldberg was this and was that, and he's just a has-been. He's a shell of himself, a shell of a man. I can see WWE using Gage Goldberg at. He can come out and be like, "You, Dad, you were that guy a long time ago, but I can see Gage, having like a heelish mentality, like, no, you keep coming out here basically and looking sorry, and it's putting it's making the family name look bad. So I can see them if they wanted to. I don't know if Gage is going to have an aspiring NFL career. I know he plays college football right now, but if they wanted to insert himself, I mean, I assume that they only showed that picture of Goldberg and his son facing each other because at some point Gage is going to be in wrestling. He's got to be. His father's Goldberg. There's just really, I mean, if Destiny's calling, what else is the kid going to do?
Well, apparently, Triple H doesn't believe in his athleticism, and that is his call. So, I again, like I said before, I'll say it again. I don't know what's going to happen in this match. All I know is that Gunther's going to retain, and I'm going to go against Goldberg. Yes, Gunther is going to retain, and retain he must.
What do you think happens in
Because
Atlanta? Because Goldberg got a really big pop on Monday.
I mean, look, listen.
If Goldberg
I,
wins, let's just entertain this shit scenario really quickly. Let's say Goldberg wins the title. How does Atlanta react to that? Do they cheer or do they absolutely just start lobbing their food and drinks into the ring?
I can't do that. They'll be arrested.
Well, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, not
I
actually,
mean,
but I
I
mean, do
mean,
they just take over the show
they're
with
just gonna
boos?
have to, they're just gonna have to suck it up. They're just gonna have to suck it up and march forward.
And then what do you do with Goldberg if he wins the belt?
Like I said, I don't want to see that happen.
Well, neither do I, but I'm just saying, in case we get a curveball and
Gage
WWE
and
decides
go
to
through in
have
shape too. Yeah.
Goldberg retire on top as a winner, then what do? Then you've completely pigeonholed that title.
I'm sorry. I just there's only one. If I was in that room with Triple H, I was gonna tell him there's only one way this match needs to be booked. Have Gunther squash him and move on and close the show, fade to black.
I don't think that I don't think they're just going to do it that quick and easily though, because then there's no point to bring Goldberg back for a couple of weeks in the first place. Something's
Like
going
I
to happen in
said,
this match too. Something's going to happen in this match. We're not just going to get Goldberg gets crushed in 30 seconds and rides off into the sunset. Something definitely is going to. I'm predicting
okay,
we're going to see interference from Goldberg's son in this match. I'm predicting it right now. I think that Gage is going to come out and he's going to be mad at his dad because his dad keeps looking weak and weak every single promo that they do. And I think that he's going to be tired of his dad looking weak and bringing shame on the family name. And I think he's going to help Gunther retain against his father. That's what I think is going to
um,
happen.
Jeffrey says he will surrender it on Raw. So Jeffrey has
Oh,
Goldberg winning the match. Goldberg wins the title. He comes on Raw and he relinquishes it.
but then that just makes. I get that. I can see, and that's probably Goldberg is probably pushing for that outcome. But not only does it shit on the belt and Gunther, I mean it shits on Jey Uso's title run as well.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this, my friends. I'm gonna say this again till I'm blue in the face. If he wins the match, there's going to be a backlash like you have never seen before in modern day wrestling history.
Now,
Yeah.
do we see because they're in Atlanta, home of WCW, home of the NWO? Do we possibly see anybody from WCW's past coming to help out in
No,
this match
I
at all?
don't. No, I don't have him winning. I'm answering Hooligan's question. Oh, okay.
He's saying if
Um,
Goldberg wins, he better surrender the title the next night on Raw.
right.
But
Um,
I could see some old WCW people making little cameo appearances for this
I,
match.
j- I don't know how this match is gonna go. All I'm saying is my
I think we're all
prediction.
afraid of this match, aren't we?
I'm not afraid of it. I'm
You're
not
not.
afraid of it at
You're
all.
not afraid of
Absolutely not.
50% of the potential outcome could be absolute
I'm
disaster. That's why I'm afraid
no.
of it. And we know how
Well,
WWE books.
yeah. Well, listen. All I know is in my heart of hearts, I'm going against Goldberg here. Gunther retains. Gunther retains. And
Gunther's gotta
retain he
retain.
should.
But the
And
thing is,
retain he should.
I just my OCD cannot let this go, Earl. If Gunther retains, what was the point of bringing Goldberg back? I don't
Because
understand.
they needed something to they okay, first of all, here's the thing. There's only 4 matches that were booked for the Saturday night's main event. All right. The ticket sales for this Saturday night's main event were a little sluggish. So the
Yeah,
WWE needed something. They needed something to bring the ticket sales up. They
yeah,
needed to something to bring the ticket sales up. So this is why they brought the Goldberg back because it's in Atlanta, it's in his hometown. He's
yeah.
there. All he has to
Okay.
do is show up in the arena, take on Gunther, go home, take his family and his friends out afterwards, and that's it. That is the only reason why WWE did this. They want to make more revenue out of the event. That is why they did it. That
I
is
feel
why they did it.
I agree. I feel if Gunther wins, which he should win, if Gunther wins at Saturday night's main event, I can see us getting an appearance from Goldberg at SummerSlam to get his lick back on Gunther and cost Gunther whatever match Gunther's going to be in at SummerSlam.
Well, we're gonna have to see about that. Goldberg requested that he wanted his retirement match for so. Yeah, I understand that, Jeffrey. I understand he wanted to. So this is why they did this. This is the whole plan of TKO and Triple H and everyone else. Nick Khan, everybody was involved in it. Everybody wanted him to be in the match because they needed the ticket sales to go up to the roof. That's why. That is why. They want that revenue. They want that moolah. That is all WWE cares about is moolah.
That
And
fabulous
if they,
moolah.
that's right. All right, folks, that was Saturday night's main event. Let's move on to AEW's All in Texas.
Oh, fuck my life.
Okay, so last night we had Dynamite. Dynamite's go
Oh.
home show. Dynamite's go home show was as good as it could get.
Ugh.
Dynamite was great. It was a great go home show. It was a solid go home show. It
Earl
was
Cole,
something that
why are
yeah,
you lying
it
to the
was
people?
no, I'm telling you the truth. The go home show was something that I liked. I really liked it. I liked it. I mean, it was something that we haven't seen in a vast long time. Now, the build for this show has been lackluster. The build for this show has been lackluster. All right, the matches were dripped out like a leaky faucet. And Tony Khan, unfortunately, Tony Khan's only going to have 20,000 plus inside this massive baseball stadium known for the Texas Rangers. But last night in the Curtis Caldwell Center, he really and truly, he really and truly put the pedal to the metal, and he really delivered what I would call a decent, solid go home show. I gave the show a B. I gave the show a B. And that was the best I can do for it. I mean, yes, Dynamite is not consistent. It's not consistent. Like one time they'll have a good Dynamite, then the next night it's a boring Dynamite. So, but this Dynamite last night, the one with the go home show, this is how you build up a pay per view, and this is how you get the people interested in this pay per view. So I was very, very well invested in this match, in this pay per view, because he gave us a solid go home show. So all right, let's talk about the card for a second. Let's talk about the card as it stands right now. For the TNT Championship, Adam Cole will take on Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, Jesus Christmas on a cross.
Um, this match is gonna be fine. The match is gonna be all right for what it is. Um,
Oh,
but
boy.
now, but now, but now, who is going to win the TNT Championship? Hooligan, what say you?
Um, First of all, I cannot agree with it being a good go home show. I thought last night was very, very hard to get through. 2 hours felt like 4 hours to me. Let's talk about main event. Hogan herself, Mercedes Monet, Spotlight
Oh, we're
Hogger,
gonna
Belt Hogger.
yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna talk about her in just a moment.
this show was atrocious on many levels. For my standards. What match are we talking about?
The TNT Championship. Adam Cole will take on Kyle
Oh
Fletcher.
yeah, Adam Small, baby. Did they? I thought when he was in NXT, he felt like a champion. I didn't notice him being smaller in stature as a human being.
Right.
I feel like every time I see Adam Cole on AEW television, he looks smaller than the last time I saw him in an AEW ring. I'm like, at some point, I don't remember Adam Cole being the same height as Hornswoggle, but that's what he looks like to me in an AEW ring. He looks teeny tiny. I can't even believe that he's got a title belt. I mean, I got Kyle Fletcher winning.
All right. Jeffrey says, Adam Cole, please come back because they don't think. Yeah, they don't care about him. I agree with
Oh
that.
boy.
Yeah, he looks like a shell of himself. Yeah, he does. Okay, so Hologram has Kyle Fletcher winning the TNT Championship. I'm gonna go on that side of caution, and yeah, I'm gonna say Kyle Fletcher's gonna win the championship because you have Don Callis and his family, and you know they're gonna be up to things. You know they're gonna be
Uh,
up to things. Yeah,
Shenanigans is like Earl Cole likes to say.
yeah.
What was with Kyle Fletcher coming out looking like some he looked like who did he remind me of last night? Like if Bret Hart and
Pepto Bismol.
that was just something him coming out looking like that. I don't know what kind
I'm
of
gonna
drugs
say
he drank.
Kyle Fletcher. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why.
That was
I
quite
don't
the
know.
ring attire.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this.
He looked like Bret
The
Hart and Alex Wright had a love child.
Yep, and he came out wrong. Yep. Okay. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay will take on the Young Bucks.
Oh,
Now, here is the stipulation in this match. There is a stip. If the Young Bucks lose this match, they will no longer be EVPs of AEW. However, if the Bucks win this match, both Osprey and, of course, Swerve Strickland cannot ask for a title shot for a whole year. So that is the stipulation for this match. I turn to Hologram. Hologram, who's winning this tag team match?
I ask who cares. I
Well,
got God, if I gave a single iota of a blue fuck, I would definitely not pick the Young Bucks. But
no.
Osprey and Swerve have been so shoved down everybody's throats that it almost doesn't make sense in my mind for the Young Bucks to lose, which I can't even believe I'm saying that. Um, I think that Osprey and Swerve need to have a stipulation, a reason as to why they're not challenging for titles for the next year. So that being said, because you can't have everybody fighting for titles, so it would make sense why two of your top guys are not fighting for titles if they lost a stipulation match saying they couldn't fight for a title. So I've got the Young Bucks winning because this stipulation
Okay.
in this whole match is just goofy.
Um, I don't know about Goofy. I don't know about Goofy. I would consider this match Um, what's the word I'm looking for? There is a word for this match, and I'm lost for words here. Um,
I just genuinely do not give a damn about anything the Young Bucks are involved in. They have zero. Did you see when they got out of their limousine last night? They got not boos, not cheers. They got zero reaction. Now, we
well,
all know
because
as pro wrestling fans what is the worst outcome with a fan base you could possibly have. Zero reaction. You want them to either be cheering their butts off or booing their butts off. If you come out the curtain, if you get out the first vision of the crowd seeing you and not one person makes a peep, that's a huge problem.
well,
They got
I'm
zero
gonna
reaction last night.
no. I'm gonna just say this right now. I'm going to pick Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay to win the match. I'm gonna pick them to win the match, and the Bucks need to go bye bye. Because I'm getting bored with them. I really am. I am bored.
You're getting bored with them? You're not already been bored with them for years?
Well, when
Let
they
me
first
explain
came
something
out,
to you. Let me show you this. Let me go grab it real quick. Just to put this in perspective to people that because there's a lot of people that think that I'm just an AEW hater because it's the fun, trendy, cool thing to do right now, and I'm going to prove some people wrong. Just bear with me, Earl. I'm grabbing a little this. I want to show you something. I I'm not a big merchandise
yeah, I
collector.
know.
I'm not a I'm not a big merchandise collector, but the very first Funko Pop I ever bought, okay, the
Okay.
Young Bucks. Okay, contrary to popular belief, I used to be a big Young Bucks fan. Of my collection of wrestling T-shirts, I have more Young Bucks T-shirts than any other wrestling superstar. That being said, I've gone from absolutely loving Young Bucks in New Japan, Bullet Club, when they were with Cody, and that whole run that they went on. I was a big fan of the Young Bucks back then. Um, I've not seen a fall off this great in quite some time. These two buffoons have literally are I don't want to say uh, I'll go as far as to say maybe 50% of the reason why I can't stand AEW anymore. The egos have gotten in the way. The vision has been lost for this company. I don't know who's to blame, or if it's one person, if it's a collection of egos involved. I'm willing to bet it's a collection of egos involved. But these two special talents are a huge reason why I have completely soured on the AEW product. Um, that being said, this EVP what are they calling themselves? The founding
EV,
fathers.
the founding for yes.
You can miss me with all of this. This is all goofy to me, Earl. I don't care about this match, but it doesn't make sense to me if the Young Bucks lose. If Swerve and Osprey win, the Young Bucks are no longer the EVPs, and then what? So then there's no more EVPs in AEW.
Correct.
The Young Bucks have just been running roughshod, doing whatever the fuck they feel like doing, and we've seen no word of this from Tony Khan. He doesn't come out on the show and say put a stop to it. He's not interjected himself as a character into the storyline, which is kind of confusing to me as well. Um, so if the Young Bucks lose, then what was the point of this whole founding fathers gimmick?
Just to sell tickets.
But they're not even really selling tickets. The stadium's only half full.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is all I know is my prediction. I mean, Grim says that the Bucks win the match. I have Swerve and Osprey win the match, which is fine.
And the only reason why
Which
I'm
is
saying
fine.
the Bucks is just because if in my mind, if they don't win, then who gives a fuck? because Swerve and Osprey always win. It's like they can't lose.
Yeah.
Osprey's the
Um,
golden goose.
well, no, Offspring and Strickland have lost
I know they've
here and
lost,
there.
but I'm saying that recently they've been just they're getting shoved down everybody's throats.
I don't think they're shoved down my throat. I find the both of them. Yes, now I understand that they're not really that much prominent as they are on Dynamite, but as far as I'm concerned, they need some kind of, especially Offspring and Strickland. They both need some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of jump start, some kind of spark here. Something needs to go
What
on
about a
here. They
tag
need
team? If they win, do they just keep going on as a tag team?
no. Their goal is their goal is to take down the Bucks. That's their common goal.
But think about what a struggle the next year would be for both Swerve and Osprey as baby faces if they can't challenge for titles for the next calendar
But
year.
that's why I'm saying that is why I'm saying they're going to win the tag team match. They have to.
No, I think it's better for them story wise if they lose.
You know?
Because what
We're
are you
gonna
going to do?
have
Have
to.
another year of Swerve and Osprey fighting for the titles with Moxley and
Um,
the ratings killers? I mean the Death Riders.
well, we're gonna see.
We're going to
We're
do a
gonna see
whole.
what happens.
Oh Lord, jumping Jehoshaphat. I hope I can't even say I can't believe I'm saying this, but I hope I'm almost praying that the Young Bucks win. Otherwise, we're not going to get anything new.
Well, we're gonna see. And that's a long way to fall from grace. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jeffrey. Thank you
Yeah,
for your comment.
The Young Bucks are
Jeffrey said if Swerve
zero
and
oil.
Osprey lose, they can't have a championship opportunity in a year. Well, yeah, that's what we were just discussing, Jeffrey. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole. That is Hooligan. Please
Hello.
make sure that you smack down the like button and subscribe. Make sure you smack down the like button and you subscribe. I greatly appreciate it.
And
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
you can smack it down. You can gently caress it, however you see fit to caress it.
No.
Pause.
All right. The women's casino gauntlet match. Now,
Oh,
just to let
hooray!
everybody, let's just say we only have two people in the match. We have Chris Statlander and Megan Bain so far. The rest of the field will be announced very soon. Okay, so the casino gauntlet match will have a number one contender for the women's championship title. So that
Oh boy.
if you win that gauntlet match, then you're going to win that. All right. Then in the men's gauntlet match, we have MJF versus Mark Briscoe versus Mystico, and
Oh
more
boy.
to be announced. Okay, so MJF is going to win the men's gauntlet match. I could see MJF winning this match. I could definitely see him win the match. Bruce, how's it going? Earl, I like Swerve, but not Osprey. As Swerve broke his nose, then Osprey cheated to. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Bruce. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that, Bruce. Thank you, Bruce, for your comment. All right. So MJF will win the men's gauntlet match. I have MJF. As far as the women go, mm, I have to see more women in the match, but I have MJF winning the men's match. What about you, Hooligan? What do you think?
What did you call this match? The casino. The what?
The casino gauntlet match.
I tell you what. I wish I was in a casino right now because I'd bet all my money that this match is absolutely going to suck.
Well, well, we're gonna see. But I have
Uh,
MJF winning.
I'm specifically talking about the women's gauntlet portion
Oh,
of this fiasco. Um, I got for the women. I've got who's in it?
Chris Statlander and Megan Bain.
That's it.
So far.
Well, isn't the pay per view on Saturday?
Yes, it is.
And we are on Thursday.
Yep.
How many other people are required to make a match a gauntlet match?
Well, it all depends if your number is chosen. Tony Khan has made the announcement that only people who have the only people that have numbers will be allowed in the gauntlet match. But your number must be called in order for you to participate in the gauntlet match.
So are we going to find out on the fly who's in this match, or are they going to tell us tomorrow?
Well, I guess you must watch Collision tonight because I
Oh,
guess they're
I'm not
going to be
watching Collision
announced.
tonight. You got me. You got me higher than the sky. There's absolutely no way I'm watching Collision tonight. Nope.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to pay me for this? Is somebody going to pay me for my time? Because that's the only way you get me to watch that.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to watch Collision, and you're gonna
Um,
have to.
if we're not getting wind of any other talent in the match other than Megan Bain and Chris Statlander, um, anyone else? What are we going to have? A Willow Nightingale, a Penelope Ford? I'm trying to think. Yeah,
Tekla.
te- oh boy. Um, how how do you do a prediction of a match when you don't have all the fucking contestants?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I can't predict these two matches because, well, the men's match I already said MJF is winning this match. There's just no, this is just no, there's no other person that is gonna go over in this match. Okay.
Is
Um.
there going to be other members of the Hurt Syndicate in that match?
No.
So it's MJF versus who? We don't know.
It's MJF versus Mark Briscoe and Mystico, and more to be announced.
Oh, more as in Beast Mortos. Uh, fuck, man. Just to get this show moving along, I'll go with MJF to win.
All right.
Megan Bain wins the women.
Yeah. All right. The Unified Championship match. Kenny Omega will take on Okada. Now, this match is going to be very hard to predict.
Pause.
Uh,
Get your blue chew. Get your blue
How are you
chew.
going to predict for a match and you don't know who's in it? Good question, William. Yeah, again that's crazy. Earl, who do you feel will be the next superstar for next year for the men and women, please? Which
What
okay,
company?
Bruce. What company are you talking about, Bruce? Bruce, thank you for your question, but again, you have to be specific, Bruce. Which organization are you talking about? Are you talking about AEW? Are you talking about WWE, TNA? Who are you talking about? Kenny Omega wins. Okay. Who's winning the unified title?
Are we going to get into Tony Khan's announcement of this whole debacle that is the unified title? How are we unifying a title that's going to be 3 different belts? How does it exactly work? If you're keeping the belts, if you're keeping all 3 belts, how are they unified?
He's not keeping the 3 belts. The title was already created.
Yeah, but he said in the conference call that he's keeping the other 2 belts.
When did he say that?
On the conference call the other day.
I don't know. I'm
It's a whole
lost.
shit show. Yeah, you got to look it up because it's a my brain still hurts trying to understand what the hell he was talking about. It's a unified
Okay.
title, but there's gonna be 3 of them.
I don't
I think
because
because
it's
we need every match in AEW to be a title match. That's why I think. A belt
Um,
for you, a belt for you. Here's a belt for you. Here's a Ring of Honor title for you. Here's a title over here for you.
Winner take all match for the international and the continental titles. That's what it says here.
So whoever wins
Um,
is going to walk around with 3 belts, not 1, but 3.
Now, if you all saw, I don't know if anybody saw this. Tony Schiavone revealed that these two belts will be merged into one. He then revealed the brand new title that's going around someone's waist.
Yes, but
Now Hologram throws a wrench in the whole thing and says that Tony Khan said in a conference call he's keeping three belts.
yeah, I'm gonna look it
I
up right now.
I I well this
Hang on.
I got a headache, folks.
Retaining
I got a
unified.
headache. I got a headache. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Let me just go to the chat. Oh, hold on, what's up?
Hang on, I'm bringing it up on my screen right now, so I can
Oh,
be correct in what I'm saying. I don't want to do
also I
misinform.
read, Jeffrey said, also I read that he's gonna bring
Here we
in
go.
women's tag team. Okay.
Tony Khan said, I have never said I'm retiring the championships. The unified AEW championship is something that is new to us. Never before have two AEW singles championships been held by the same wrestler at the same time. It's something very new. The AEW president then expressed how proud he is of both championships, but clarified that the Continental Classic tournament is still an important factor in AEW and will continue going forward. We'll have an awesome Continental Classic to look forward to later in the year. He explained the lineage for the new unified belt will be separate and emphasized that the belt is there to symbolize the winner takes all nature of the match with Okada and Omega. The belt itself represents the two champions that have gotten us to this point. The rivalry between Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega is something that predates AEW. It's something that, in my opinion, represents one of the best one-on-one rivalries in all of wrestling.
Okay, so what I got out of that is that he's gonna keep them separate. So the unified title will be the unified title, and the Continental Classic, he will have to create something else for that person to win that tournament.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes a little
All
more
right.
sense because the way I heard him
Now,
speaking
yeah,
the
that
other
makes sense.
day made my head hurt because it sounded like he was saying he was keeping, like they were unified, but he was keeping the other two. And then I'm like, well, what are you doing with the other two? Is whoever wins this match going to have all 3 belts? Then what's the point of calling it a unified title if they're carrying around 3? It was all over the place. But with that being said, I feel like my prediction for this match, God, I
Is
mean, I don't think that this match is going to hold a candle to anything that they did in New Japan. I really don't. They're much older now. Their bodies. Kenny Omega's been through the ringer in the last year and a half. Kazuchika Okada is on this. His AEW story arc has not really been memorable for my tastes. I I mean, if you have one cleanly win over the other, how do you revisit this feud later on down the road? Does anybody want to see it again at any point in the future? Would there be a need to see it again in the future? I don't have the answer to those questions, so I'm assuming that we're getting some form of fuck finish in this match.
um. Well, from what I understand, this is the last time these two are going to take on each other. From what I understand.
If that's the
But,
case, then it needs to be a clean finish. We saw the interference of Gabe Kidd the other night. I don't see why he wouldn't interfere again at All In. I think we're gonna see some sort of fuck finish, but if they do have one guy go clean over the other, who it's got to be. I don't even know who you pick. because I don't feel like either of these two guys have any momentum really.
Um,
You just kept Kenny Omega off of TV for the last month and a half, so I don't know who's got the momentum, who needs the win, who absolutely can't stand to lose because it would be detrimental. I don't know.
the match is going to be a banger. It's going to
I
be a
just don't see
banger.
it. I hope I'm
Uh,
wrong, and I hope it is a banger, but I don't think it's going to be nothing like we're used to seeing from these guys when they were in New Japan and having their peak rivalry days, or those days are long behind them. I'm afraid.
no, I don't think so. I disagree with the assessment. I think that this match is going to be one for the ages.
I hope you're right, actually.
I think that this match is going to be off the meter
I hope
because
it's match of
both
the year.
men.
I really do. It's got potential.
I
It
mean,
could be match of the year. I hope they beat the shit out of each other. I hope it's better than anything that we've seen them do in New Japan.
this match has so much intrigue to it, and so much vile, visceral, disdain for one another. Especially what Okada did to Omega at the hands of Don Callis. Um,
Who do you got winning?
I waffled back and forth with this. I waffled because this can go either way. This can swing either way. Um, I'm
That's why I
gonna
said
say
because I can't really pick one guy over the other.
I'm gonna give it to Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is going to win the unified championship.
And you don't see
Um,
any interferences. You don't think any interference is going to
well,
happen.
yes. I think what's going to happen here, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match. But when the smoke is cleared, Omega's hand will be raised, and he will become the new unified champion. He has to get some kind of just dessert on Don Callis and his crew. Um. All right.
I don't know
Let's
who I'd pick.
continue.
I really
What,
don't
what do you?
know.
What do? You, what, I'll let Hooligran think about that for a second, and let's go to the chat. Kota Ibushi can help Kenny. Well, that's interesting.
Or Kota
Yeah,
Ibushi
that's
comes out
my.
and turns on Kenny.
Yeah, that could happen too. That's my pick, Kenny Omega. Yep.
Because what does Kenny do after this match?
Reign supreme as the unified champion.
And he's going to take on who?
Well, now to see what Tony Khan cooks up in the cook pot.
Is he going to
Yeah.
Kenny White? Is he going to take on Top Flight?
No,
Uh,
somebody in the Don Callis family. Because you know Tony Khan loves the Don Callis family. You know he does. Mm.
I honestly don't know who to pick because I feel like if Okada loses, what's the fucking point for him to be in AEW? What's he even doing?
Look, Kitty, Okada had some great matches on pay per view. He did. He had some bangers, and I, I don't think he puts on any kind of lemon sour match. I have seen all of Okada's matches in AEW. I have seen all of them, and I am blown away at what he can do in the ring. I am blown away at how he has the intestinal fortitude to overcome the odds and win the match. With all of that being said, I could see him win the match and he could become the new unified champion. I could see it. I would love to see Kenny Omega get his hand raised in this match. I would love to see it. But we could get a swerve here and give it to Okada and
Did
win the
someone
match
say
over Kenny.
swerve? And I swerve when I drive. And I swerve when I drive.
Let me see. Kenny can take Kenny can take on Takeshita. That's what I'm done. That's another thing. Yeah.
But Takeshita's wrestling tomorrow for the Ring of Honor championship, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
So my belief is that Takeshita's going to win the Ring of Honor championship. Oh, okay. And then you've got the Ring of Honor world champion versus new unified champion Kenny Omega. Okay.
All right.
I see the vision now.
All right. So you have Okada winning the match.
Um, I feel like Okada needs it more, but I don't. I'm the minority of the IWC when it comes to this match. I don't think this match is going to live up to everybody's expectations. I think they set the bar so high with their feud in New Japan that there's no possible way they can even match it at their age, and especially Kenny Omega. He's so beat up. He's so beat up.
Well,
He's gassed like Goldberg when he comes out to the ring.
Jeffrey, I do like this. Jeffrey said, "Yeah, he's wrestling Bandito." Yeah. I
Bandado.
don't. I don't think Kenny Omega. I don't think Kenny Omega is winded. I don't find him winded. I think what Kenny Omega could do in the ring is nothing short of sensational. I mean, this man comes out here. He had stomach surgery. He had ticulitis and all of this
Diverticulitis.
stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. Since he went out with diverticulitis, he's not been the same.
Divers. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Uma. I know what you're saying,
I
but
know
he
fully
still
well
can
what
hold
Mr.
his
McMahon
own.
does.
No, he holds his own in the match. He does, and he has the test of will to win, and
Yeah.
That's what Omega does. He goes out there. He doesn't. Okay, he may give you 50%. He may give you 70, but he'll go out there and show you what 75% is all about. And that's what he does. I mean, look at the match he did with Brian Danielson at the first Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe. They didn't even lock up yet, and the crowd of 20,000 chanted, "This is wrestling." I mean, I mean, he has put on some bangers.
Yeah,
He
but
has put on,
he's way more. His body's way more beat up than that first show at Arthur Ashe. That was years ago.
yeah, I know, I understand. I understand, and I think that this match. Listen, I'm not going to say that this match is going to be a classic or it's going to be that. What I am going to say, this match is going to be a banger. These two men are going to put pedal to the metal, and they are going to go after each other in this match. And whoever blinks first will become the new unified championship. I'm saying it's Omega. We could get a difference of Okada winning the match. I would not be mad either way. As long as the match, as long as they put in the work and they put you on a story that made you compelled enough to watch the match. And that's the only thing that I want as a wrestling fan. That's the only thing I want in the wrestling fan. I want to see this match come to fruition. I want to see these two men really and truly show that 20,000 people exactly what they're made of and what they're all about. And if you're a fan of Okada, fantastic. I'm not going to trample on your thought process. If you're a fan of Omega, then hey, hats off to you. I am a fan of good, decent, clean wrestling. And
Yeah,
that is what I'm looking for. That's
that's
all
what I
I
hope.
want in this match. That's all I want in this match.
I
And
agree. I
yeah,
agree with that assessment.
yeah,
I just want a good match. I want. It's just hard to not put expectation because of what they've meant to pro wrestling in the past and
right.
what they did to bring awareness and to give New Japan a name. Some of those matches, I've never been like a guy that watches New Japan, and specifically remember searching their matches out to watch because I heard such killer things about them. And they were banger matches. And that being said, I hope, and I think part of my problem is the way that they've done Okada in his AEW run is that when he's in these matches, he just looks like he's half-assing it. He's not trying very hard. So with that being said, I hope that we don't get that style from him for this match. I hope that it goes back. I hope that they can recreate some of the magic that they had in New Japan. I'm hoping. Not
Well, I
expecting,
know
but I'm
that.
hoping.
Yeah, well, I know the last match that he had. I know the last match Okada had. He really showed who he really is. And I've seen all his matches, and I don't see him put half an effort into it. I see him putting his whole
AEW?
effort into. Huh?
His his AEW matches?
Yes,
You don't think
I've
he's been
seen.
coasting? You don't think that he like the character that he's playing with that the nonchalant, the he doesn't really
But
give a shit. He's not taking anything too seriously.
well, listen. That is part of his persona.
But that's
That
what I'm
is
saying.
part
I
of.
don't want to see that in this match with
He
Kenny.
lulls people into thinking that that's how he's going to do it.
But I'm afraid
But
that
then
that's what they're gonna do with this match with Kenny. They're gonna have him be in that persona, and it's gonna come off like he's not taking it seriously. Like I want them to both beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? I want them to
no,
give us a
I
New Japan.
understand. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But like I said before, I'll say it again. It's part of the storyline and it fits the storyline because that is the way he does things. He'll go there and he's like, "Oh, this is easy. I don't have to do much of this work. This guy is not coming." And then all of a sudden he turns on the afterburners. Then he turns on the afterburners and then he gets going. That's the way he is. That is exactly the way he is. That's the way he is. And I know some people don't like it, but that's the way he is. But he still gives you quality wrestling matches. It's not like he's not lifting the furniture and pushing it on the other side and giving it to the other person and say, okay, now let me see what you can do. That's not what he's doing. So I mean, it's more a psychological aspect to his persona and how he lulls you into that comfort zone. So that's the only thing.
Here's the thing with
All right.
that. If they have him be in that persona because he has such a decorated past with Kenny, it makes Kenny look like a babyface idiot, like a blithering idiot. If Kenny is going to buy into the
Oh,
persona
he's
of
gonna
this
buy
new
into. Oh, he's
Okada.
not gonna buy into that. He's not gonna buy into that. He's not gonna buy into that. He'll buy into it maybe 2 seconds, but he's not gonna buy into it the whole match. He's not gonna do like that. Kenny is gonna
Right.
go into that match. He is gonna go into that match, and he knows what is at stake. He knows what's at stake. He knows exactly what's at stake. He cannot afford to make any mistakes with Okada because if he does, that will be his undoing, and Okada will walk out of Texas with that unified belt. And that's the truth. Um. All right. The AEW Tag Team Championship. The Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight versus the Patriarch, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. All right. If you saw last night on Dynamite, oh boy, did the Patriarch did a number on the Hurt Syndicate? Did they hurt the Hurt Syndicate? Oh, absolutely. And from what I understand, Bobby Lashley has a nasty bruise on his ankle. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The Hurt Syndicate is not going to be 100% in this match, and the Patriarch wanted to make sure that that took place. So now, my question to you is, Uligram, who is going to win the AEW Tag Team Championship?
Uh, I
We
don't.
we might, Jeffrey.
What's Jeffrey saying? Oh, get a middle
We're
finger.
gonna get a minute for that. Yeah.
Who's in this match?
Okay. I'll say it again. All right. The Hurt Syndicate.
Oh,
So
Hurt
it's
Syndicate.
Benjamin and
Yeah,
Bobby.
sorry,
Yeah, Bobby
my bad.
Lashley,
Who's the
Mike
champions
Bailey,
right
and
now?
the Hurt Syndicate. Mm.
And they're going against uh, Vanilla Midget, Mike Bailey, and Kenny Knight, or Keith White, or Barry White, or Barry Windham, or
Kevin Knight
Kevin Knight, Kevin Nash, Big Sexy.
and Christian
Yeah.
Cage and Nick Wayne.
For shits and giggles,
I still got the Hurt Syndicate. Okay, Jeffrey.
I feel like Hurt Syndicate's probably going to retain, but for shits and giggles, I would put it on Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. There's no way 8-ball Mike Bailey and Kevin Nash are going to win this match. There's no possible way.
Um, well, that his name is not Kevin Nash.
It might as well be, because
Kev.
I'd be more interested in the fucking match if it was.
Well, here's the thing. Last night, you didn't have much expectations for these matches because the thing is that um, they drip these matches out for you. But after what I saw last night on Dynamite, and after the solid performance of the Go Home show, now you want to see. Now you want to see what's going to happen in this pay per view. Now you want to see. So I'm going to say with certainty, folks, that the Hurt Syndicate will remain the AEW Tag Team titles will remain with the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah. All right.
I think that I agree. I don't think it does the titles or the Hurt Syndicate any favors for them to drop the belts. But like I said, for shits and giggles, just to throw a wrench into the plans and do something unexpected, I would give, because you've got this storyline that's been going on for like 2 years now with Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, and at some point, this has all got to build up to a head, and we got to get some sort of payoff for this. But I'm assuming that's not until, is Copeland back yet?
No, he
Yeah, he's
had a
not back yet.
setback.
Yeah, so he's not back yet, so they can't really finish that storyline until he comes back. Give him the titles. Give Nick Wayne and Christian Cage the titles, so that way they can be building towards their epic collapse when it happens.
Yep. All
Because
right.
the Hurt Syndicate's not hurting people. They're boring people to sleep. We bore
I don't.
people. We bore
I'm not.
people.
I'm not bored with them. I'm not bored with them. I'm not because if they were boring, they wouldn't be dominant. Dominant people are not boring. They show you every time why they call themselves the Hurt Syndicate. This team reminds me of the Nation of Domination. Now, if you all remember the Nation of Domination, Farouk and his crew, and what they used to do to people who double
D'Lo
crossed them.
Brown, The Rock, Mark
Right.
Henry, Sexual
So I
Chocolate.
don't I don't find the Hurt Syndicate boring. I find them very interesting because you don't know what they're going to do next or who they're going to target next, and that's what makes them intriguing. So that makes my heart grow fonder. So to each his own. If, I'm not trampling on the thought process. If you don't like them, that's fine.
I would have liked them better had they put Hobbs in the faction and left MJF out of this whole scenario.
No, Hobbs already told Tony Khan he didn't want to be part of that.
I'm just saying, I would have liked the Hurt Syndicate better had Hobbs been a part of it.
Right.
Because I don't
But I
like
like
Hobbs in the ops.
Yeah,
That's
I think
cringe.
I can. No, I don't think the ops are cringe. I don't. I disagree.
Oh, it's
I
so
I, I
cringe.
I disagree with I mean, I respect your opinion. Don't get me wrong, I respect it. But to me, I think it all works. You have to look at the overall picture.
I just don't see the
Um,
overall picture. I've been trying for weeks, and I just don't. This
like
direction
I
that
said,
AEW is going, I just don't understand it. I don't know what the payoff is for any of these feuds. I don't know who's supposed to care. I feel like a lot of these talents have been so miscast and so beyond poorly booked that there's not really a lot they can do to redeem a lot of these people in my eyes, and that's I think the problem I'm having when it comes to watching AEW. I just feel like I'm suffering through a show when I watch it, and I'm not enjoying much of any of it, and a lot of that has to do not so much with the talent because they're decent talent when it comes to wrestling, but it's who they are in interviews and the shit that they say in interviews and off camera and behind the stage that really starts to give me kind of a window into who these people are behind the scenes, not just an on-air character, but who their personas might be in real life if you were to meet them. And a lot of these guys in AEW, I just think they think their shit doesn't stink. They're not here to take advice from anybody. They want to just get their shit in and win, 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 win. And it doesn't matter who they got to bury to do it. And I just don't like that overall vibe about
it's the
AEW.
booking, man. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is the
booking.
booking. It is the booking. It is the booking. And the thing is that Tony Khan doesn't care. Tony Khan only cares about is the money. And that is the bottom line. He will not address any problems in AEW. So you could, I have taken this company to the woodshed many times over at their booking. I sometimes scratch my head at their sometimes the decisions, but it is what it is. That's AEW. You either take it for what it is or you don't. I mean, that's just the attitude we all have to have now with this company. But here's something that I think will put a stamp on my feelings if I see this going the wrong way. And this is for the AEW Women's Championship. It is timeless Tony Storm taking on many belts Mercedes Monet.
Mercedes Hogan herself. Brother!
Yeah, he doesn't care whatsoever. He doesn't. He doesn't, Jeff. He doesn't. Um.
I think TK's got the hots for Miss Mercedes Monet. That's what I think.
Well, he better be careful because she's going out with the beast Mortis.
Well, Tony doesn't care about that because he's paying both of their salaries. So
Well, here's the thing.
if Tony
I
wants her,
am.
I'm sure he could throw a number out and get her.
Here's the thing, folks. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to say this again. If this match goes the other way that I think it will go, I'm not watching AEW anymore. I'm going to protest. And I mean it.
Oh,
I
love it.
mean it. I mean it.
Love it.
Because this woman, Mercedes Benet, has been making a mockery of title changes. This woman needs no more belts. Now, when you made her win that match in Arena, Mexico, she had no business winning the AAA women's title from Zeus's. She had no business doing that. And then she looked on camera like she was surprised. I'm not surprised because you are in control of your booking. And Tony Khan is ridiculous. This woman doesn't need a seventh title. She don't even need six. She only needs one.
I just want to
And
know
that
because
is
I've heard some content creators say that by her having all these belts from other promotions, the promoters of these promotions love having the belt on Mercedes because she's a big star and it draws attention to their promotion. However, I beg to differ in terms of we're on American soil. Only the hardcore wrestling fan, which is a select few in a small niche of people watching a stardom, watching an evolve, watching an MLW, watching a CMLL. Not the majority of wrestling fans aren't watching these promotions. So what good is it really doing these promotions when all of their women's talent don't have a belt to fight over because it's being paraded around on AEW television by belt hogger Mercedes herself? I don't understand how this brings eyes and awareness to the promotions of the titles that she's carrying. It makes her look like an egomaniac. She's running wild, bigger than the Hulkamania
Right.
brother, off of prayers and vitamins in his heyday. Uh, if Mercedes wins this match, I've already changed my avatar picture on if you can tell, it's Mercedes Hogan. She's got the bandana and the yellow handlebar mustache. This
Well,
woman,
I
Tony
can't. I can't. Go ahead. Go ahead, Hoover. I'll finish my
Tony
thought in a
Khan
minute.
in the conference call lied through his fucking teeth and said Mercedes absolutely does not have creative control.
BS.
Um, that's a blatant lie. That's a miscarriage of justice, as the great Gorilla Monsoon used to so eloquently state. Um, that's a blatant lie of the truth. It was reported back in the day when CM Punk was in AEW, he was allowed to pick who he wanted to face on Collision. He was in charge. He could send talent home. Um, if he was allowed to have creative control, why is Tony Khan so afraid of saying that Mercedes has creative control? Why is he lying,
She does.
saying that she
She
doesn't?
does.
She clearly
She
does.
does. She
Yes,
does. She
yes,
does.
yes,
And Moxley does too.
yes.
Moxley does too. Okay, so nobody here is being fooled.
So
All
why is he
right,
lying? That's what I would like to know because he didn't lie.
I
He didn't lie about CM Punk. He told everybody CM Punk had creative control. But why is he trying to withhold that about Mercedes? Because
okay.
everybody at the time loved CM Punk and everybody was like, "Yay, CM Punk is back in wrestling. We want to see him." It was because the reception for Punk was positive. It's overwhelmingly negative for Mercedes because she's holding all of these belts, and I think that's why he's
And
trying
that
to cover that.
CEO thing and that CEO gimmick is
Oh,
is absolutely trash. Now,
it's cringe. That's probably the cringiest part of AEW right now is the CEO gimmick.
the belts need to escape from Mercedes. I agree, Dro. It's clear that Moxley has creative. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's clearly obvious about Moxley and Mercedes both that they have control. I don't know why he's lying. Tony Khan is
Jeffrey
lying.
said, Earl, it came out that Tony Khan says that he's in charge of creative and not Mercedes. Look, let me tell you something, Jeffrey. Let me explain this to you. If Tony Khan was in charge of Mercedes Benet's creative, all right, why would he allow her? Listen to me carefully. Why would somebody of a promotion like AEW sit back and have her have her win titles that clearly she does not need to win? You understand what I'm saying? Anybody in their right mind, anybody, anybody, Jeffrey, and I respect your opinion here. I respect it. Anybody would not be fooled by this because I know that if I was running a promotion and I had a women's championship, she's not going to be winning no 2 belts, 6 belts, 5 belts. That's ridiculous. You're making a mockery out of title changes.
But it's
And
also
you're
coming at
trying.
the expense of the other women in the division. It's just completely burying everybody else. You're not
That's
lifting
right.
anybody up. You're not making any new stars. You're not putting shine on anybody else. Yeah, it's Tony Storm. She doesn't really need shine because she's her own she's a big star in her own right. But it's
There's
Mercedes wins this
nobody.
match.
I'm
You're
not
also
fooled.
burying Tony Storm. It's burying
I'm
Tony
not.
Storm's reign.
I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled. Tony Khan could say whatever he wants. He can say the sky is green, the sky lab is pink. It doesn't matter. I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled, and I'm not an idiot.
Is
I'm
this
not an
match going to
idiot.
be the main event? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this again. I better see Tony Storm retain this title. I better see Tony Storm win this title because if I see it go the other way, I am going to be. I'm telling you, folks, you're going to hear a rant that you will never forget.
Here's a doom and gloom end of the world scenario for you. What if we get to Saturday, the end of Saturday night, and Saturday night's main event and All In are off the air, and we are reporting that Goldberg has won the WWE title and Mercedes has won the AEW Women's title. Can you imagine the meltdown that the internet's going to have if
Let
these
me let
two
me
outcomes
let
happen?
me let me tell you something. I would not want to be on Twitter after that. I would not. I'll go
Twitter
straight to.
actually might crash if those two outcomes happen on the same night.
I, I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna be done with AEW.
Imagine
I'm
Goldberg
not gonna.
winning the belt in his retirement match and Mercedes getting her seventh belt,
Well,
burying the AEW women's division along with all the other promotions she's buried in the
I'm
last year.
not. I'm not gonna watch Dynamite. Then I'm just not. I'm not gonna even report it. I'm not even gonna stream it. I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother. If
I'm
you're
nervous
not gonna
for
take,
Saturday. I'm nervous.
if you're gonna take this as a joke, then I'm done. I'm done. I'm finished.
I'm nervous for a
That's it.
couple of these outcomes. I'll tell you that right now.
Um. Yeah. We're gonna see. All right, folks. We're up to the main event of All in Texas. John Moxley will take on Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. Folks,
Oh
here's the
boy.
problem that I have. Here's the problem that I have, folks. Here's the problem that I have. For months now and a couple of years, Moxley has been the champion of AEW. Okay. He has the title in a freaking briefcase.
For
All
almost a
right.
year, by the way. We're coming up on a year he's been hiding that thing.
AEW loves their Texas death match. Yes, they do. Okay. So Moxley has the belt in a briefcase.
Um,
Everybody on Twitter has gone after Tony Khan and asked him, "Why are you not standing up for AEW and your champion?" Now, I'm going to start comparing people here, folks, before I get to the prediction. I'm going to start comparing people. Okay. I'm going to start in WWE. All right. Do you see Gunther? Do you see? Okay. Do you see the champion on SmackDown? Do you see them, ladies and gentlemen? You see them, right? Okay. Cena and Gunther. Do you see Cena and Gunther come out week after week, month after month, day after day, and their titles are in a briefcase? No. You know where their titles belong? Around their waist. And you think Triple H would allow, listen to me carefully, do you think Triple H would allow some Cena and Gunther to put a title in? No. When Hogan was a title holder, did he have it in a briefcase? No. When Macho Man was a champion, was it in a briefcase? When you go on TNA, you see the TNA champion? Is it in a briefcase? No. When you go to other promotions, do you see their title holder in a briefcase? No, no. Where's the title? Around the waist. I cannot. Now, if you all respect Moxley as a champion, that's fine. But for me, as a wrestling man, and I'm only talking about myself, I cannot respect John Moxley as a champion. I don't take him seriously as a champion, and I don't take Mercedes Moné as a champion. I don't take these two people as champions. And for the love of Peter, for the love of fucking sake, would you please have Hangman
We
win
got an F
this
bomb from Earl
match?
Cole. Finally, I've been waiting for weeks.
Please, for the love of Peter, have Hangman
The
win this
broke Earl.
match.
Finally, he finally broke. He finally said a curse word. Welcome, Earl. Been
Please,
waiting for you.
please, for the love of all is holy, take that damn belt out of that fucking briefcase and put it around somebody who
We got
wants to
two F
represent this
bombs by
company.
Earl Cole. Let's go.
And I will settle for less. Don't do no lazy, whack ass, lame booking
Hey, Jefferson's got a
bullshit.
point. I forgot about this. I was talking
Mm.
about we could be ending Saturday night with Goldberg as WWE champion and Mercedes as a 7-belt champion. What if Moxley retains on Saturday too? What if we have the complete end of the world scenario
I
with
don't
Moxley
understand how
winning?
TK can allow Moxley to win around with the damn shit.
Earl's not
I
even
agree,
listening.
Jim. What was that? What was that hologram? I'm sorry.
I totally forgot about the to my doom and gloom scenario about Goldberg and Mercedes winning. I forgot Moxley was in a match. What if Moxley retains and we have Goldberg as WWE champ, Mercedes as 7-belt champion, and Moxley still holding that briefcase with the title in it? It's like imagine if WWE hid their title inside Money in the Bank briefcase, and you just saw the champion walking around with the Money in the Bank briefcase the entire title run. It's like the briefcase is more over than the belt, right? WWE would never do that. So why is AEW hiding their title,
And that
their
is the
main
thing that
title?
And that is the thing that I'm getting frustrated with, and I'm at my level. I'm at that level of tolerance. I'm telling you, folks, these two matches will do it for me after Saturday.
Oh, the look on Earl's face is priceless.
I'm not going to settle for less, and I better see what I want to see.
We could be looking a Sunday morning before Evolution even goes live. The internet, Twitter might have completely crashed and burnt to the ground based on what we possibly could be facing on Saturday. We could be looking at some real awful, awful scenarios come Sunday morning.
I'm
I'm praying
gonna.
for the best. I am praying and hoping that the wrestling gods prevail and that business is done the right way and we get old guys that haven't wrestled in 20 years retiring and losing their title match. I hope that we get some order restored to the AEW women's division and we begin the road to recovery for those women. I hope that and now I'm a big John Moxley fan, or I should say I was a huge John Moxley fan until this latest run from Wrestle Dream last year until now. I don't know why they felt the need to put the belt on Moxley again for the umpteenth time. Um, he's pretty much been the workhorse and the flag bearer for AEW since their inception, and I get that. However, this storyline that they've done with the Death Riders has not made any sense to anybody. John Moxley's promos don't make a bit. I'm pretty sure he's speaking English, although I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. It's a bunch of gibberish. He paces back and forth like a caged animal. Um, I don't understand why Marina Shafir is his bodyguard when his wife is a backstage interviewer, and Marina Shafir is the wife of a guy who's also on the AEW roster or Ring of Honor roster, or he was at some point Roderick Strong. Why she's not paired with him in his faction? There's so many things to this angle that don't make sense to me since it started. If Moxley wins again, which is what I think actually, since we're doing predictions, I'm just going to get mine out there right now. Moxley, I feel like they're not putting the title on the Cupcake Cowboy. There's no way. I think Moxley's retaining and they're saving that title change for Darby, and that's what we're getting in September at Wrestle Kingdom.
I don't. Why is Gay Kid there too? Yeah, that's a great question. He speaks in riddles. Yep, that's what he does. Someone take care of Marina Shafir. Yep, I agree.
Who's the woman that's going to take care of Marina Shafir? Because you can't
I
have.
might
Are you going
want
to
to
have
tune
Adam
in.
Page close? Are you going to have Adam Page clothesline Marina Shafir again? Is she going to take another
Um,
buckshot lariat?
I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say this. I don't care what anyone thinks about Hangman Adam Page. I don't care. All I care about is him getting his hand raised at all. This has to come to an end. This nightmare that we've been on for months and years has to come to an end.
I
I
think this
want to see
nightmare.
it. I still want to see Hangman get his just dessert on the Death Riders. They almost put him in a plastic bag. They almost choked him out with a chain. They
Think of this
almost
scenario.
did.
If Moxley loses, okay, if Hangman gets his hand raised, what does this mean in terms of the Death Riders as a group? Does this storyline go away? Does it continue and we still get another form of Moxley versus Hangman now with Adam Page being the champion? I feel like if Adam Page is to win on Saturday, it kills the Death Riders storyline. Like they can't be a faction anymore. Because what's the point of them being a faction still? Who are they going to attack? They're going to attack Kenny.
See,
They're going to attack
they,
Hangman Adam Page over and over and over until the end of time.
I don't know what Tony Khan is thinking, but all I know is this is what I'm thinking. I don't want to see him retain.
I know, but you've got
It's
to put your
enough.
feelings. You've got to think about what they're gonna if for that outcome to happen.
Listen,
Where do they go after
listen,
that?
listen. I don't care what's gonna happen
Yeah,
after
but you
that.
can't just pick and choose some matches that we reviewed tonight, and you base your predictions off of what's coming down the line in the few weeks prior, and then on some matches you say you don't care. You got to be fair across the board. Like honestly, I'm asking you genuinely. If Adam Page wins the title, how does it
I
not kill
mean,
off it? How does it not kill off the Death Rider story arc?
I mean, Listen, he could lose the title, and then let's say the Death Riders accidentally cost him the title. Okay, he cost him the title back. He will blame the faction. Okay, he will blame the faction for what happened. He will talk in riddles like he always does.
So if Hangman wins, you think that Moxley is going to then turn on his faction?
It's a possibility.
It is.
And I
I
would be
just
all
feel
here
like
for it.
as dominant as this faction, as they've made this faction for whatever their reason that nobody understands, if they give it to Adam Page, it just stops it right in the water. And then where do you go after that? Like, I guess the only way to go is Moxley turning on the faction because they're not involved in anything else. So I guess that's why my prediction is they're not ending it yet. They're dragging this out a little bit longer until now we could see the return of Darby Allin at All In um, on Saturday night. I don't I've been battling back and forth with whether I think he's going to show up at All In or Wrestle Kingdom or Wrestle Dream. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna. I keep calling it Wrestle Kingdom for whatever reason. That's New Japan. My bad. But I think that they're saving Darby's return for Seattle and for Wrestle Dream. So that's why I think that Moxley's going to retain one more time. One
I
more
don't.
time.
I just. I can't. I can't stomach it.
Because think about it. If you're going to change title, like if you're going to have the title change hands, you want to do it in a half-empty arena?
Listen, listen. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, Hangman said to Renee Paquette, "I don't care if it's 15. I don't care if it's 25. I want that title." And let me tell you something. 20K is fine by me, as long as his hand gets raised in that match. Because this nightmare has to come to an end. I'm not going to settle for anything less.
I think it's a bigger nightmare to put the belt on Hangman Adam Page.
I don't think so. We need a new mop, because right now we're in a mess.
Well, if anybody
This
looks
this
like a mop, it would be Adam Page.
no, I'm not gonna put him down. I'm not gonna put him. I I want to see him. I want to see him get his just dessert on the Death Riders. I do. I
I live to see
really
Adam Page lose.
no. I can't. I can't have
Well, somebody's ranting on Saturday. It's either going to be you because Moxley won, or it's going to be me because Adam Page won. So one of us is going on a rant on Saturday. Personally, I hope it's you. Not that I wish
that.
suffering upon my fellow wrestling fans, because Moxley winning another time is we're all suffering, and I understand that. And the suffering will continue. The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yeah, yeah. You're right, Jeffrey. I had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can
you had
see
enough.
that.
I've had just about enough. I've
Okay.
had those are the two matches out of this whole card, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to see go in one direction. And if I don't get it, if I don't see it, I will not support this company anymore. I can't. I can't. I cannot sit here and be a phony. I can't. I just can't.
What if Adam Page wins, which is what you want, but what if Mercedes also wins? Do you still support the company?
No.
No.
Nope.
So you have to. So you're all in. It's the all or nothing with Earl Cole, right?
That's right.
Mercedes has got to lose, and Moxley's got to lose, or you're all out on AEW.
That's right.
Those are some strong statements, Earl. I like it. I like it.
Wish you too. Could Street, it would be, yeah. Like I said, folks, like I said, I'm going to be on the air at 2:50
That's a
for
long day ahead of
either.
you. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily know if I go live. If I go live, it won't be until Saturday night's main or till Great American. What time is Great American Bash on? Do you even know?
3 o'clock, the same time as All In.
Well, who booked that? They
Well,
booked Great American
originally,
Bash to go on at the same time. Those poor
well,
kids in NXT, man. That wasn't right to do to them.
well, the WWE had no choice because Saturday
Yeah, they
Night's
had
main
a
event starts
choice.
at, yeah, the Saturday Night's main event starts at 8. The show originally was supposed to start at 12, but the arena says that they can't get the show ready until at 3 o'clock. So They have to go by the
Yeah,
arena
and the
production
original
stat.
plan for this Saturday night's main event was supposed to be a week ago, anyways, and then they bumped it up a week to this coming Saturday for some inexplicable reason. Oh, and what a coincidence! It just happens to now be falling on the same day as AEW's All In.
Well,
What a
no, Saturday
coincidence!
night's main event, Saturday night was already penciled in for July the 12th. They already penciled it in. Tony Khan, I mean, Triple H had already announced that was it. Now Tony Khan's pay per view was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. They bumped it back up to 3 o'clock because they did not want to run into Saturday night's main event.
Ah, gotcha.
So this event was already penciled in. They already have the dates already made in stone for Saturday night's main event.
Well, then I
So
guess we've got options for our viewers. Then, if you're tuning in to watch All In, Earl Cole will be live for the coverage of All In. I don't know how if you're watching. I don't know if it's possible to watch both at the same time. I won't be doing that, but if I go live, it'll be to cover NXT and Saturday night's main event on the WWE side. So either way, chat, you're covered.
right, like I said, folks, I'm going to be on the air. Tony Dro says I hope Tony Khan will do the right thing on Saturday. I hope so too, Dro. I hope so. But folks, that was all in Texas. That was all in Texas. And like I said, I will have the coverage. I will have the coverage at 2:50 Eastern Daylight Standard Time. I go live. It's going to be an historic street, an historic rant if it doesn't go the correct way. But I'll have it for you.
Wait,
I
so
don't
it's
know.
going All In is going to be on at 3 p.m. Eastern time?
Yes,
Wait, 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's noon my time, noon Pacific.
that's correct.
All In the pay-per-view starts at noon on my time in the United States.
Yes.
You'd think we were in Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions again or something. What the actual fuck?
Well, like I said, Tony Khan had to do it. He had no choice but to do it.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. I thought it was 3 p.m. my time. That's why I was like, why is everybody freaking out? It's only a couple hours difference. No, that's a huge difference if it's coming on at noon my time versus 5 p.m.
Right.
So American Bash is also coming on at noon Pacific time.
Right.
So All In will be over by the time Saturday night's main event hits the airwaves. So you will be able to watch both shows.
Right. And
Okay.
I will transition
Got you.
after the pay per view is over. I will transition into Saturday night's main event, and I'll give that to you because it'll be available on Peacock and NBC nationwide. So
The
I'll have
cop.
both. Yeah, so I'll be on the air, folks, from 2:50 in the afternoon to 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Standard Time.
Oh, you're gonna hate your life come the end of Saturday night.
It's gonna be a long evening of wrestling, and I have
Hopefully, it's
plenty
some
of.
good outcomes that we can really get behind and that set up some good, exciting
This
stories for
is
the last half
why.
of the year.
This is why. This is why, folks. The go home show was good last night because now we're intrigued. Now I'm intrigued because everything's on the line here, folks. Everything's on the line. This past last night, maybe my last time streaming AEW Dynamite.
No, Saturday will be.
We'll see. We will see.
Can
We
you
will see.
imagine in 2025 when this year started, if you would have said John Cena would be heel, he would be 17-time greatest of all time champion. If you would have said
Let's hope.
Mercedes beats Tony Storm and collects her seventh belt, if you were to say that Goldberg is going to retire as WWE champion or world heavyweight champion, I would have said, Earl, whatever you just loaded into your pipe and lit on fire, I'm going to need a double dose, my friend, because there ain't no way in hell anybody would have ever predicted any of these scenarios. And in 2025, I don't know if wrestling has hit the twilight zone. I feel like we're in the twilight zone of pro wrestling this year because shit doesn't make sense. We're getting wacky, convoluted stories with possible outcomes that seem like a real detriment to the business. I am praying. I mean, Saturday from both companies has all the potential of the world to be a gigantic car accident, the likes we've never seen in pro wrestling. And I'm praying that this does not happen. I'm praying Goldberg's ego is kept to a minimum. I'm praying that Goldberg wants to do business the right way. I'm praying that Mercedes Moné decides that she's had a change of heart and wants to do business the right way. But when you have these entities with these egos making these millions of dollars, I just don't have no faith. I don't have
We're
no
gonna
faith.
see. We're gonna see.
I hope for your sanity's sake, we get all the outcomes you predicted because I don't want to see Earl Cole at his wit's end. I don't want to see Earl Cole on a rant. I can't imagine an Earl Cole rant coming if we get the scenarios that we've been talking about. If
All I
Goldberg,
know,
just
folks.
Goldberg alone, if Goldberg wins, oh Lord, Lord have mercy on everybody in the IWC.
I don't even want to have that thought in my head. I really don't. I don't want to have that thought in my head. I don't. I don't. I'm trying to be as positive and as even keel as I can possibly be. Because everybody and their mom knows that you cannot do what you think you want to do and think it's okay and don't think you're going to get the blowback from it. Because you cannot tell me he comes back one time and then he wins a no. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
If who? Who are we talking about?
Goldberg.
Oh, right. Yeah, if he wins, he can't just come back out on Monday and go, okay, here's your belt back. He can't do that. That
I don't
shit's all
know.
over the title.
I'm not even going to think about that right now. I'm not. I don't want to have that thought in my head. I don't want to.
But you do
I don't want
notice
to have that bit.
you've been noticing that since they announced Goldberg is going to be in this match, every time Michael Cole brings it up, he brings
I
up the
understand.
possibility. He literally verbally makes mention that Goldberg could retire as world heavyweight champion. Why are they having Michael Cole say this for every advertisement for this match?
Okay, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Because they
All
want me to
right.
have a quadruple
The-
bypass. That's why.
no, no. WWE does this all the time. They do it for 50 plus years that they've been in business. They sit there and they give you these subliminal suggestions
Yes.
that make you feel a certain way. But when you think you know everything or you think you on the track of knowing everything, they pull that rug right out from under you. They want you to talk about the match because they want you to watch the match.
I've got an insane prediction that you're probably not going to agree with because nobody's agreed with this, but I've been paying attention, close attention on social media to little stories that I'm reading from various outlets. Now, I don't follow any dirt sheets. I don't subscribe to nobody like that. I just read, and what it usually most of the time goes in one ear out the other. But I've seen a couple of stories from a couple of different outlets. Don't remember their name or I would shout them out. There's a scenario going around that I thought of a couple of months ago, and the fact that I've seen now two different entities talking about it literally has me very intrigued. And I don't know what your thoughts and feelings on this is going to be, but at Saturday night's main event, this is why I keep thinking Michael Cole keeps bringing up the fact that Goldberg could retire, because there's two groups of people. There's going to be the old heads that are coming back to watch this match because they were big Goldberg fans in their 20 when they were 20 years old. They no longer watch the product because they've outgrown wrestling. They have families, but they want to see Goldberg one more time. They want to see Goldberg retire, right? You've got those fans, and then you've got us hardcore fans in the IWC that absolutely know what a detriment to the business it would be if Goldberg wins this match on Saturday. How do you appease both fan bases? Because you
You
can't.
don't.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my wacky wild outside the box prediction. You don't have either man win. And what I mean by that is there are rumblings that he's coming back at SummerSlam, and he's been gone for quite some time.
Yeah.
I think we see the reemergence of one, and I'm predicting this right now. On Saturday night's main event, I predicted that we are going to see interfere in the Gunther and Goldberg match. One beast incarnate Brock Lesnar will make his return.
Nope.
I'm predicting that. Because there's no way in hell Brock Lesnar is not going to be part of two-night historic SummerSlam. He absolutely will be
Unfortunately,
there.
unfortunately for Mr. Lesnar, he had already burned his bridges with the
You think?
WWE.
You haven't seen any of the stories that he's working out a deal with WWE right now for his final run.
I haven't heard it.
I've seen I've seen two stories in the last week that they're in negotiations and he wants to retire when he's 50. He's 48 now. So his final deal is supposedly set for 2 years. And he'll be done in 2027, I believe it is, when he turns 50. He doesn't want to wrestle past being 50 years old, I think the deal is. I don't know the contractual amount that they're in talks for, but I've read in the last week that he's on his way back. How true that is, like I said, I don't subscribe or follow any dirt sheets. I just read
I'm gonna.
things that I
I
see.
will. I will. I'm gonna investigate that
Okay.
because I know WWE legal already told TKO there's no way to have him
But we
back
haven't
in
heard anything
WWE.
in months, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the legal and everything yet, just because nobody's been reporting on it yet. They could have already come to some decision about Brock Lesnar and just not verbalized it to the world. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Well,
out of
he is a.
the realm of possibilities in my mind that I firmly believe that if he doesn't show up on Saturday, we're for sure seeing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. He's been gone for
Well,
way too fucking long, and I think that the Vince and all that, they're already talking about settling with that Janelle Grant outside of court, and that shit's all about to go away, and not even be a storyline anymore. And I think that they are going to bring Brock Lesnar back. Because what is Gunther going to do? Let's say Gunther beats Goldberg. Is he going to go back to fighting Jey Uso again for the rest of the year? Please God, no.
they have other people in that locker room who would run
Who, Sami
that are
Zayn? Does anybody believe that
capable.
Sami Zayn's going to beat Gunther? I don't want to see none of this. We need some legitimate wins from Gunther as a champion. What more legitimate of a win than beating Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, huh?
I don't know. All I know is, folks. All I know is.
I might be
All
high.
I.
My predictions are way outside the box, and I'm not expecting most of what I drum up in my brain doesn't happen because I think a little too. I just know that if I was a promoter of a wrestling faction, man, the fans would be on the edge of their seat. They wouldn't know what was going on half the time because I'd be throwing swerves and curves that nobody saw coming, and it keeps it unpredictable. And I feel like in 2025, all elite wrestling, world wrestling entertainment, it's all been so predictable this year. It's all been just going through the motions. We can see the outcomes coming a mile away. Match outcomes are being predicted months in advance. That kind of pro wrestling just don't interest me, Earl. I don't know how you feel, but there's got to be a little bit more to it for me than just great in-ring wrestling matches.
Right.
I I need to know. I need to not know who's going to win sometimes going into a match. Yeah, I get most of the time we know who's going to win. But sometimes in certain instances it's just better to not know one way or another.
Well, all right. I just pulled up something from Yahoo Sports. All right, on Lesnar. And Yahoo Sports says, will Brock Lesnar ever return to WWE from hiatus? It's unknown if Lesnar will return to the WWE.
Yeah, but
He's
when is that article
currently,
printed? Was that article printed in the last week? Because I'll get the article that I let me get the article I was referring to.
okay, this was Yahoo Sports. Okay. So
Yeah, it's Yahoo
Yahoo
Sports, but
Sports,
you have to look at the date because if it was written right after the Vince stuff broke, well then of course it's gonna make it sound like Brock is never coming back to the WWE. But it's been a
no,
whole
this
year and
was
some change.
this was written. I'll look at. Let me look at this on July 3rd. Okay. So the article says, will Brock Lesnar ever return to the WWE from hiatus? It's unknown if Lesnar will ever return to the WWE. He is currently on indefinite hiatus. And while no one has completely ruled out a return, there has been no concrete evidence or suggestion that he will. His hiatus is due to the WWE being linked to Vince McMahon and the Janelle Grant scandal. WWE immediately removed him from the creative plans and has not been seen since August of 2023. Lesnar's last match was against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam 23. He lost in a rubber match to the feud. Most expected to have him come back for the road for WrestleMania 40. However, that did not happen. He usually is part of the Royal Rumble PLE, but he did not come back for that either. He also missed out on WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia.
I think Sportskeeda is the one. Brock Lesnar, July 2nd. It says of this year. Brock Lesnar sparked WWE return speculation ahead of SummerSlam 2025. Let me click on the link.
Right, I agree. We need some unpredictability. You're right. Exactly. All right.
Apparently, he made a
I
public
wouldn't.
appearance.
Okay.
Um,
So I haven't heard that. No. Yeah, I know. What Jeffrey said? Who that's that's a way out there prediction. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I follow sports skeeter. Oh, you do? Okay. Um, Speaking of sports skeeter, folks, they made an article this past week. If you all didn't hear, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' home was broken into in
oh, good lord.
California.
Oh lord.
Um, yeah, their home was broken into and stuff was stolen from their home. And thank God
Wow.
the both of them were not at home when this invasion took place. Apparently
Eh,
their home was broken into, and that's that's a sad thing.
What's
That's
up
a
with all
sad
these
thing.
fans like Liv Morgan? Did you see the footage of that guy standing on her porch holding that BB gun, standing at her front door
Yeah,
saying that he was going to come in? You
yeah.
had
Thank God their daughter wasn't home. Yes,
was it the week of WrestleMania when the stalker was following Roxanne Perez around? Oh no, he
yes,
doxed her address, put her address and stuff all over the internet where she lived. Now this
yeah.
story
He
with
was
a fan
arrested.
breaking in, somebody actually broke into their home.
Yeah,
What's
they
wrong with
their
wrestling
home was.
fans, Earl? Have you ever
I
done some
don't. I
psycho
don't.
shit like that? In all of your years of watching wrestling, have you ever done anything that could get yourself
I
arrested for being a wrestling fan? I have not.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not sure if the group that did it were wrestling fans. I'm not 100% sure, but this group broke into their home. and took their stuff and everything like that. And it's very terrifying to know that when you are a public figure, people know exactly where you live because it's all over the internet. All you got to do is Google someone's name and you can get their address very easily. And I
Right.
think that what people need to do is contact Google and tell them, please do not publish my address on Google as a search. And I think that's what people need to do to protect their privacy because I'm telling you, folks, it's very scary today the way we live and the way people are just going over the edge and they can't seem to grasp reality. It's very scary. It's very terrifying. Also in wrestling news, I just want to get everybody to know that WWE did rehire Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler was rehired by WWE after being released, and she is now a producer on NXT.
That's
She's
crazy.
going to she's going to be a producer for NXT, and she's going to produce a couple of matches for NXT. And I believe she's working on one right now. But we don't know if this is a permanent hire or this is a temporary thing that the WWE wanted her to come back and work and get the women's division in the direction that they're looking for.
What do you think
So
about that?
Shayna, um, the thing is with me is here's the thing. I've worked on jobs where I was never respected. I was never thought about. I was never cared for. I was never thanked for the job that I've done.
Never taken
And
into consideration.
no, never taken into consideration. Always getting dumped on. Always
Yeah.
getting the short end of the stick. When it comes to coming in on time or coming in and filling in for somebody who didn't want to bother getting up in the morning and doing a double shift and being exhausted, being tired, back bothering you and everything else, but nobody seems to care about what you're suffering or what you're going through.
Yeah.
So you Shayna Baszler has been disrespected so many times over by WWE.
Hmm.
When she, especially, when she was called up to the main roster, they watered her down terribly. They synced her in the low and the mid card. They had no creative plans whatsoever for her. They booked her with Nia Jax. They booked her with everybody else. They just kicked her around like she was an empty tin can on the road. And for her to get a phone call from WWE and say, listen, well, we know that we fired you and we let you go. We want you to come back as a producer. I would have hung up the phone with them. I would have said, you know what? You can kiss my behind. And I would have hung up the phone. I would have said, go scratch. Find
Hmm.
yourself your own producer. Find somebody else that's not you're not using on the roster right now. Make them be the NXT person.
Yeah.
I read, I mean, it's like I don't care how much money you throw at me. Once you disrespect me in a job, don't lose, please lose my number. Because there is absolutely no way I'm going to sit there and listen to what you have to say or what plans you have for me. I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to it. You don't want to. You didn't listen to me the first time when I was here. So what sense is it going to make to do this time? What is it going to make? Because I remember I read in a lot of blogs and I read all over the place. Shayna basically was frustrated with her creative plans. She
Oh
was
no shit.
frustrated. She was frustrated.
Yeah.
She was frustrated. She was frustrated with Vince. She was frustrated with Triple H. She went to creative. She was like, "What is going on here?" They punished her
Yep.
because she spoke out. They punished her.
Yes.
They punished her because she spoke out. So I'm sorry, but I thought this was the United States of America.
The divided states of America, more like it.
So I'm sorry, but I believe I think that's ridiculous. It's great to see Oscar look stronger than ever. Yeah, yes, Dro. Yeah, I agree with that comment.
Yeah, I'm surprised that
That
Shayna
was a
Baszler
good match.
accepted the producer role and didn't want to stay wrestling for like I thought she would go to AEW to continue being a wrestler, but The fact that they've
Yeah,
now got her off of TV in a backstage role for her to never be seen again is kind of strange.
yeah. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't have said that.
And
I
I
wouldn't
saw
have said
people
that.
saying, "Well, it's because Triple H is going to say that she's old." Well, CM Punk is old. If you're calling Shayna Baszler old, then you've got to call Cody Rhodes old. You've got to call John Cena old. You've got to call CM Punk old because they're all in their 40s. And 40 in the year 2025 pro wrestling is the new 30. So none of these
I
guys are
mean,
old by any stretch of the imagination. 40 is not old. Sorry that all these Gen Zers don't understand that, but um, 40 is not old.
and let me just say this. Let me just say this before we wrap up here. Let me just say this. I'm going to go on record here, folks, and say this. WWE, what they're doing with these talent at that age of 30, of 40 or 50, that's age discrimination. You're not supposed to discriminate against anybody against their age. If they can get up in the morning and walk and talk and physically do things, they're able to go into work and they're able to do what they need to do. So you don't need to discriminate against them. I just think that Shayna Baszler deserves better than that. Her resume speaks for itself. She was the NXT Women's Champion for a very long time. She deserves way more better than that
You
and
know,
way better respect.
when she was the NXT Women's Champion, she was on that legendary run, the likes we had only ever seen really from Asuka before her. And she was a dominant. She was dominant, and then she got called up to the main roster. And what they have her do on her first match? Didn't she bite Becky Lynch like a vampire and blood was squirting
Yes,
everywhere?
yes.
She never She was never the same after that night. They not only have her become some inexplicable bloodthirsty vampire out of nowhere. Also, after that spot, they never revisited it. She never bit another person. She never.
No,
It was like, huh?
because the fans were souring on it.
Because Vince knew exactly. Don't tell me. Vince knew exactly what he was doing when he had her bite Becky Lynch's neck. Man, don't. If anybody tries to tell me that they had an idea of where they wanted to go with Shayna Baszler and then it just didn't work out, I will say bullshit because there was no reason for her to become the female Gangrel out of nowhere when she had just been a dominating normal human being in NXT. No one's going to believe that she's become some supernatural immortal vampire. That was hokey.
Right.
At least they had started something. Like, why didn't they continue on with it? Because there was never a plan to continue on with it. Vince thought in his sick and twisted mind, think of the most outlandish thing we can have this woman do, and then we'll have her go back to being normal after that. Because he knew the fans would be like, WTF, this don't make no sense. This is not what we want to see. Boo. And they'll just push her to the bottom of the pile. And then she's been at the bottom of the pile ever since, trying to make stuff work with the collective bargaining agreement, or what was that faction called?
Oh, Pure Fusion Collection.
Oh yeah. Nah. God bless them.
Um,
And now one's not in the company, one is out with a devastating injury, and one is a backstage producer, never to be seen on TV again. Crazy, crazy,
I agree. Shayna Baszler deserves better. Yes, she does.
crazy what she must have done backstage to piss somebody off.
AJ isn't old either. No, he isn't. Yeah.
Yep,
All right.
that's another good example, AJ Styles.
All right, folks. That is going to wrap it up for the wrestling experience. We've been on the air now for 3 hours and 13 minutes. This has been a conversation. Uligrim, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It we have covered everything, folks. And like I said, I'll be back in 24 hours from now with Friday Night SmackDown, the new 2 hour era of SmackDown with Jelly Roll. Will happen
Oh,
tomorrow night. Will
oh,
happen tomorrow night. It is SmackDown's Go Home Show. It is SmackDown's Go Home Show before we get to Saturday night's main event and the Great
oh,
American Bash and Women's Evolution. So that is happening tomorrow night on the USA Network at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Until then, everyone, thank you for watching tonight's wrestling experience. And we hope that you all. Oh, El Whoop Whoop. El Jolito. Oh, hi, El. How's it going tonight? Hit the like button, El. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. What did Jeffrey say? Pure fusion cocktails. Yeah, folks. Wait until everyone's about upcoming the GCW pay per view. Oh, okay, Al. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Make sure that you. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Jelly Roll. We'll be on Friday Night SmackDown. So until then, everyone, thank you all for watching Friday Night Smack. Thank you for watching this wrestling experience. I'm Earl
hit
Cole,
that thumbs
and
up. Subscribe to Earl
hit
Cole.
that. That's right. Hit that thumbs up. 3 hours and 15 to be exact. Yes, Jeffrey. Thank you very much.
Subscribe to me too if you feel like it.
Showcase Showdown happening in Detroit on live on Triller TV, July 17th. Okay, thank you, Al. Thank you so much for that. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me. And thank you for watching tonight's wrestling experience. I want to thank Hooligan. I want to thank everyone that was in the chat.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank
He's
you,
going
Earl.
to roll all right. Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, everybody who
Yeah,
comes.
yeah. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you to everyone that was in the chat tonight. We greatly appreciate it. I'm Earl Cole. Thank you for watching tonight's Extravaganza. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Friday Night SmackDown. Until then, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I'll see you tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown.